Welcome back, Dungeoneers. It's Sunday afternoon, and that can only mean one thing. It's time to play Dungeons and Dragons. I'm here at the table with...
I'm David Schultz, playing Dromar the Goblin Rogue.
I am David Wong. I am playing 9, the Tabaxi Bard.
I'm Nicole Bates. I play Sorian Soul, Changeling Druid.
I'm Greg, and I'm playing Ulset Ralph, the Furbog Fighter.
And I'm Alexis Bates, your trusty dungeon mistress. This week, we have a couple of our sponsors back again with us, and the first one is from David Schultz, so take it away, Schultz.
Our first sponsor today is Calling All Knights. The wait is finally over. Calling All Knights is now live on Kickstarter until April 29th. Be one of the first to play this 2 to 5 player trick-taking card game for the whole family. Featuring over 60 unique knight characters and creatures, Calling All Knights is simple to learn and fun to master. Stay up to date on facebook.com/Cali Pigeon Games or search Calling All Knights on Kickstarter. And as always, we will also put the Kickstarter link into the Twitch chat as well as the YouTube and podcast show notes so you can all go and support them there. Thank you, Calling All Knights and Cali Pigeon Games for the sponsorship today.
Thank you very much. I am excited to see that game.
Have you seen on Twitter they have some of their knights talking to each other?
I haven't had a chance to read that yet this week.
It's pretty cute.
Yeah, they've created, I don't know how many unique Twitter accounts, but Twitter accounts for at least some of their different knights, and they're having little discussions and arguments on there, and it's pretty fun.
Is the Mime Knight on there just doing emojis at everyone?
I haven't seen it yet, but it might be.
I also haven't seen the Mime Knight yet, but it could be. I haven't seen it, but that doesn't mean anything. So go check it out, see if it's on there, and if it's not, tell them you want a Mime Knight account.
Because that would be my favorite. I would love that very much.
Mime speak out.
And I am back talking about our continuing sponsor, Geekified. Geekified is a tabletop gaming store out of Vinton, Iowa. They can serve all of your tabletop gaming needs through online ordering, and I think if you're in the region, they are doing a couple of in-store experiences and pickups now. So if you're thinking...
you can pick up in-store, and they also do local delivery as well.
Yeah, I'm glad to see that they're doing pretty well at the moment. It makes me quite happy. So if you're thinking about picking up a new adventure path or rulebook, head on over to their site using this address, geekified.us/discount/dice and dungeons. That link will get you 5% off of your first purchase and help support the show in doing so. So if you're thinking about getting yourself a new rulebook, maybe a new board game to play with your friends or family, now that vaccinations are starting to happen and we can maybe go see each other again, which would be very nice, take a minute and head on over there and pick it up. We will be spamming that link in the chat, and it will also be in the YouTube and podcast descriptions when the show gets posted to those places. Thank you very much, Geekified, and thank you to anyone who purchases anything through the link.
Yeah. Celebrate the pandemic and being able to go out again by picking up the Strahd book and playing a vampire who never goes out during the day.
Exactly.
I mean, before it was just that you couldn't go out. Now it's that you don't want to go out.
Ran out of excuses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I know it's a little bit off of our main brand, but the new Strixhaven set is out.
Yeah.
I think that launches tomorrow? Or is it today?
The pre-release started Friday, and then the release is this coming Friday.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I think
not officially out, but sort of out.
I didn't know exactly when that was going to happen, but that is excellent. So
yes,
pick up Strixhaven. I've watched some previews online, and it looks like a fun set. If a little confusing in some of the cards, but that's what makes Magic fun, when you have no idea what the hell you're doing.
There you go.
You're a judge. I mean...
Yeah, you learn the card when you play it.
Exactly.
Yes, that's right. Just read it and say, well, this must be how it works. I mean, to be fair, usually it does work how you think it will, so...
Yeah. I think that is it for our sponsors, everyone. So, Dungeoneers, let's roll. All right. On last week's episode, our party went into the sewer tunnels beneath the city of Nordfeld. They'd received some information on how to sneak into the warehouse where the fervent tech thieves had been operating. But the dark and disgusting sewers have proven thus far to be a bit of a challenge to move about in. Multiple corrosive oozes have already created a bit of a problem with the weapon department for the group. And as we closed out last week's episode, they managed to find a respite from their struggles by meeting our friend, the bullywog, Muriel Hopalong, a druid of sorts.
Fan favorite already.
She gave them a safe place to rest for a little while and some lovely curry to fill their stomachs. And that's where we left
That's the
off.
best curry.
What kind of curry was it, by the way?
The best curry.
The best curry?
It was
Trademark?
Yes.
Yes.
it was the best curry. Actually, it had a lot of mushrooms. For anyone who recalls, I had Nines restore the remaining lost hit points that he had after eating the curry. And as we had already found out, there are a lot of restorative materials around the region of Nordfeld, making things like healing potions quite a bit cheaper because the resources to make those things are more plentiful. So it was kind of a mushroom curry with a lot of restorative mushrooms and other herbs and spices from the region included in there. And it was a bit on the sweet side. It wasn't super spicy. Kind of a sweet curry.
When she was making it, the new batch, could I have gotten the recipe from her?
Could you have spied the recipe from her? I think that's the
I would
real
have just
question.
asked for it.
So you're going to ask her?
Yeah.
I mean,
But it
cooks are
sounded like we're
famous for
already
not sharing.
post-curry.
I can give you the recipe, I suppose.
Oh, wonderful. I'm a bit of a cook myself.
Oh. Fellow culinarian?
Yes, whatever that is. I can cook though.
Oh, very good. She jots down a quick list of ingredients, and there's some proportions that are a bit, a pinch, handful.
Enough.
Yeah, things like enough, or the right amount.
A sufficient amount.
Yes.
To be fair, that's more specific than a lot of home recipes.
That's true.
So,
It's just like lard.
yeah, exactly. It's just a list of
They-
I
ingredients.
ran across
Do
a
they
recipe
include
the other
the
day.
three pages about her kids and why she makes this dish?
Or the time she went to the Bahamas.
I ran across a recipe the other day that just said eggs, not an amount, just
Yeah,
eggs.
It means
And-
more than one.
And it was a cake recipe at that, so it kind of matters how many you put in.
And then, even worse is the recipes that are just flat out wrong because, they might have started with a specific recipe and that's what they wrote down and what they always write down, but they don't actually use those amounts. So it'll be half a stick of butter and it's really 2 sticks of butter or something.
Yeah.
And you make it and it's terrible and it's what did I do wrong? I followed the recipe.
Yeah. So you now have a curry recipe.
I'll stop.
If you really want to get into specifics, we can do that after the game. But I have a curry recipe.
I will stuff the recipe in my journal.
All right.
We're not going to take 15 or 20 minutes to go through the entire recipe.
You start with a roux.
Maybe cook up a sample batch to make sure she's got it right.
Hey,
I think
if you
we
wanna
should just
roleplay
make this
this.
a cooking episode.
Yeah.
We're just gonna move the camera into the kitchen.
We're gonna
start
release
making
a
up some curry.
cookbook as a merchandise item.
Well, I'll give Alton Brown a call. We'll set up some cameras inside the refrigerator. He can commentate as you're making it too. So you
There you go.
Then a mystery chef will show up and challenge us and knock us off one at a time as we're chopped from the show.
So Muriel,
top tier
It'll-
D&D
it'll be
content,
Bender.
ladies and gentlemen.
Muriel,
Ice and dinners.
Yes.
you're the first Agmar Nodal I've met who isn't a giant jerk.
Wow.
That's because she's a small-sized creature.
Oh,
And you complain about Alsace diplomacy.
why are all of the other Agmar Nodal giant jerks to me about being about using Fey magic?
Fey magic?
Yeah.
Well, with Fey magic, Agmar Nodal have a history with Fey magic.
And what is that history?
You don't know?
Why would I know?
I forget. You're from the Fervent Wilds.
Yes, I am.
I guess you've been a bit out of touch.
I mean, I don't think I've ever been in touch. And
She didn't even know what a door was until recently.
Well, that makes sense.
yes.
Quite a few years ago, the Agmar Nodal had to push back an incursion from the Feywild, and it was believed to have been brought upon us by the exuberant use of Fey magics.
So did the Agmar Nodal used to use Fey magic?
Although it was never the primary source of Agmar Nodal magics, yes, after the incursion, there was much more hesitancy, and some spoke out against it.
How does druidic magic even work without using Fey powers? It doesn't make any sense to me.
We draw on the power of nature itself.
You don't just compel nature?
No. We ask. We cooperate. We coax. We don't force nature.
Well, I mean, I don't either. But like, you don't speak directly with what you're asking to do.
We do. We cooperate with the inherent power of life.
But you
and
don't.
sometimes death.
But you don't use the same druidic language that I do to do that.
Apparently not, but this is news to me.
I'll speak in the druidic I know.
That is not a tongue I recognize. And I recognize a lot of tongues. As she just flicks her tongue out and grabs a fly out of the air.
Are there any bugs in this curry?
No.
Oh, okay. You just didn't write it on the recipe list. I wanted to make sure.
Most non-bullywugs don't care much for bugs.
Oh, he loves bugs. I point to.
I do like bugs. They're quite delicious.
And sometimes he will catch bugs and eat them, but I don't think he likes them. Pointing to Nine.
So
I mean, to be fair, Nines eats almost anything. As long as it's free.
if the price
bugs
is
cost
right.
so much money.
So has Ulset overheard any of this conversation?
Unless you guys are actively like tuning out or avoiding conversation. This is just going on and out in the open for everybody, so you've probably heard everything.
Mm-hmm.
How long ago was this incursion from the Feywild?
I don't know exact dates, but at least several hundred years ago.
Okay.
So Ulset says, you, who are Muriel,
Yes.
you say that you understand many tongues, many languages.
Yes.
Okay. I have some words I will say to you in private.
We've all heard them.
We've all heard them multiple times also.
You yell them at people.
Yes, I was waiting for you to tell this one. This
Yeah, I mean,
I will ask for your private opinion because they ridiculed them.
Okay.
These words are special to me, but I have no idea of their language or their meaning. Rats dun balin.
The words mean little to me.
Do you recognize the language anyway?
It sounds potentially some form of ancient East language. There are many languages that have faded.
When you say east, you mean...
On the eastern side of this continent.
So, like, Costeria or the Free States?
Yes, and even the wilds.
Right.
There are languages and nations that have risen and fallen many times before we were even a thought in the ether. I haven't heard that language before, but there are so many that I have not. Most of them are from tongues too old to be of use anymore.
Well, thank you. That is more information than anyone else has been able to provide.
You're
Well said.
welcome.
Do you know where your armor came from?
Yes. My armor came
Where?
from my teacher, Lon.
Well, yes, I know that,
That's
but I
what he
mean,
meant.
did he make it or did he acquire it somewhere?
Oh, you know, that I do not know. All I know is that it is his armor.
I was just thinking maybe, you know, the armor he wore and his code, the code of Remarden, all of that, and might come from the same place as the language. So if you know where all that come from, then maybe you'll be able to figure out how to identify the language better.
That is perhaps true, that the armor and arms had come from the same place as the language. Although I do not believe that Lanferan was ancient beyond counting.
Well, it might have been passed down though.
Right. Where was Lanferan from originally?
I only know that he came from the east, I believe from Costeria. He did not tell me much about himself, only about Remarden.
So perhaps it's an old Costerian language.
Perhaps.
Yeah, could be.
Although I have met a few elves and they have no knowledge of it. But perhaps that is correct. Someday, mayhaps, we shall go there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know nothing about it other than where it is, so it'll be fun.
Maybe. I mean,
You never.
it could also not be fun.
Not be fun at all.
Yes, we could all die.
That would not be fun.
So
No, not generally.
while we're eating this curry, how do we want to proceed? Right now, if my map is correct, we have there's that crossroads that we met right at the start that goes north that we didn't go down. There's an eastern path out of this room that we're in now.
There's the room that you're in now has an exit to the west, and that is where you entered from,
Yeah,
and an exit to the south.
out to the south. I drew
Yes.
that one. So there's a southern exit, but so the path continued west the way we just came in. So we could keep pushing westward, which is presumably where our goal is. But if you want, it depends how much you want to search around in these sewers. I know we found that pretty necklace, and
We did find the pretty necklace, but as much as I like, you know, finding valuable things, I think we should try to get to our goal, to the warehouse, as quickly as possible.
So I should keep pushing
and I'll tell
west.
you why.
Oh, okay. Are you gonna do it in song form? Because that's usually what happens right after someone says that.
No, I'm not
You
going
can't
to
take
do
my
song.
thing.
Yeah, that's Nines' thing. I don't want to trample on that.
We could
It's
sing
all he
contrapoint,
has.
Just be like,
Wait.
three-part harmony.
It's the only thing he's got going for him in this party. Otherwise, he'd be totally useless. And so I don't want to step on that.
you're not gonna
I
do
am
the
never
Go West
inspiring
My
you
Son
again.
song.
What? What was that
You're
song?
not gonna do the Go West My Son song. In this
I don't even
stage
know
of the-
that song, so
Oh,
no,
okay.
I'm not.
So tell me why.
So basically 2 reasons. Reason number 1 is, we could be one of multiple parties on this mission. This isn't an exclusive contract. And so the longer we take, the more likely it is that we won't be the ones collecting on it. But also, even though we have found some valuable stuff, we've also ruined some of the stuff we already have, which we'll need to pay to replace later. Like Ulseth, his rope got ruined when he killed that one ooze,
His crowbar,
and his crowbar,
and his other crowbar.
and I've ruined one of my swords, basically. So, the longer we're down here, we're gonna run out of supplies eventually.
That's true, and I'm going to have to assume that when we get into the warehouse, we're gonna have to fight a bit.
One would assume so, yeah.
There'll
I mean,
probably
we
be
know
a
that.
scuffle of swords.
Yeah. I mean, I forget. Was it like 5 people that we saw in there at least?
Something like that. Now I'm planning. I can always go in as Koramonth and try and divide numbers or confuse them or something. But it'll be a little weird
Yeah.
for Koramonth to be coming up out of the sewer grate.
Yeah, I mean, unless that's his normal thing, which I kind of doubt.
I doubt too. He wears nice suits.
The last time we saw him, he was underground.
Yeah, that's a little. Being in a mine is not quite the same as hanging out in the sewer, especially when, you can get to this warehouse from not the sewer.
Shall we do compare and contrast between mine and sewer?
There's more shit in the sewer.
That is true.
know,
Most
there
of the
seemed to be
shit
awful lots of
was
shit in
outside
mine,
of the
too.
mine.
So, are we agreed that we're going west then?
We could go back to the west. Shall we ask Muriel? Perhaps she could provide us information about how to reach the ladder we are seeking.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
Go ahead.
Muriel, I have yet another question.
Go ahead.
Yes, this party is seeking a specific ladder going into a warehouse. It has a number. It is 75 with a little dashy thing, 0184. Perhaps you would be able to assist us in finding this ladder?
I don't really pay attention to the ladders down here. I am sorry.
Do you know your way around the sewers? Do you have perhaps a map?
The map is in my head.
Great, how will we get it out then?
I'll show
no.
her my map.
It's not what she means, Nines.
So this is what I've drawn so far. If we want to get to the warehouse district, where would we go?
I would think that you'd want to continue westward, but I don't really know the overlay of the city compared to these sewers. My study is of what lives down here,
That's
not
fair.
what lives up there.
That makes sense. Do you know what's above us now if we were to go up this ladder? The one outside your house, that is.
Oh, that one? Well, I believe that one is fairly near the Agmar Nodal tree. Not right off of it, but the
Soria
grove
wants
is
to go
there.
up and burn it down.
No. No.
Maybe a little.
Not. No.
I have a
No.
question.
No.
Oh, yes?
Have you seen, like, other people just, like, scurrying around that aren't the monsters?
That's a good question.
I have seen workers from time to time. And there are.
No one looking suspicious.
Like a thieves guild or something.
Oh, I wouldn't
No,
recognize
there's no
a
Thieves Guild.
thieves guild, but
No Thieves Guild.
there are individuals I've seen down here, and they weren't workers. Kept my distance.
Were any of them a furball about Wilseth's size, maybe a tiny bit shorter?
But really pale and
No.
How about a guy in a white suit?
Yes, they're famous
Well,
for being in
mustache.
sewers.
Certainly not.
Yeah, I didn't figure.
But I have seen dangerous looking people down here before.
Oh, where did you see them?
I have seen them in many places throughout the sewer.
Any, like, one particular place where they keep showing up?
There is one room that I have seen more activity than I would like. I don't really go there anymore. It is to
Well,
the
in that
south
case, can
and
you, like,
west of
kind of
here.
point us in that direction?
you said south and west.
She points out the west exit of the room. It is in that direction.
Well, thank you.
There we go.
I say we go that direction.
Yes.
I agree.
Would you perhaps wish to accompany us?
What are you doing down here?
We're trying to stop dangerous criminals who are stealing urban technology.
Yeah,
Yes,
we're
like
trying
the
to.
Thieves Guild.
No, there's not. They're pretending to be a thieves
They
guild.
could be affiliated. They might or might not be affiliated with some sort of guild.
They're definitely not affiliated with a guild because it doesn't exist.
Not even like
They're
a mercenary guild.
pretending- What?
They could be affiliated with like a cheesemaker guild or mercenary guild.
That seems highly unlikely. But they definitely aren't affiliated with the Thieves Guild.
No one said Thieves
'cause
Guild.
there isn't
Roman.
one. What?
No one said Thieves
You will
Guild.
stop talking
You're
about Thieves
projecting.
You
Guild.
said Thieves Guild. All of you said Thieves Guild. Everyone's talking about the Thieves Guild.
That is because it is so popular.
Yeah, we're trying to stop them from stealing all the fervent tech and find out what they're doing with it, or trying to do with it.
Oh, I'm not much for getting involved in those sorts of escapades, but if you should need help, I return here, and I will offer what assistance I can. I
Thank you.
don't let people harm me. This is a well-protected area.
I did see one of your traps.
Those are mostly for rodents.
Sewer beavers.
Large.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
All right. Well, so maybe if we get like beat up or something and we need to take a long rest, even if we don't want to, this might be a good place to come back.
Yeah, I mean, should we take a rest now? Even a short rest?
I
We
think
did
we
just
were.
take a short rest.
Oh, did we just take
Yeah,
a short
as you
rest?
guys
now?
ended the last session, you all said that you wanted to take a short rest. So I figured that
Yeah.
this is part of that short rest. You're basically engaging in the conversation that you would be able to during said short rest.
It is a very restful conversation. It is peaceful
sure.
Oh.
and relaxing.
Muriel,
Yes.
if we're trying to go southwest, like you had said,
Yes.
we have two tunnels we could go down. There's this one directly outside and slightly north, and there's one directly out this way and to the south a little. Which way would you recommend?
Both would get you where you're going. Both have dangers.
Do you want to be a little more specific?
The one further south, it involves more rodents.
Let's take that one.
I agree.
You don't want to hear the other option?
The one to the north, it involves occasionally more bugs.
Oh, bugs. I thought you were going to say oozes, because I'm sick of dealing with them.
The oozes seem to have localized to the more southern rooms and chambers and drainways from here. They are, as far as I've been able to figure out, the center of the city's drainage system.
Do either the bugs or rodents have any particular weaknesses
Pointy thing.
that you know of? What'd you say?
Get in hit.
Pointy things.
Yeah.
Well, Muriel looks over at her traps that you've seen, which are basically like gigantic mouse traps. The spikes seem to do a pretty good job.
Yes, sharp pointy things.
I think that's the way you defend against most things.
All right. So would you say then that we're probably done with the oozes from between us and where we're going? Like, they probably won't be in those areas.
I wouldn't. Sheer luck.
Fair enough.
Do we want bugs or rodents?
I know Dromar likes to eat bugs, but I would take my chances with the rodents. I know that Nines
I
would
think
probably
rodents
prefer
too.
rodents.
Okay, so we want the more southern western path. Okay. Do we want to do anything else while we're here?
Not that I can think of.
Can I have some of your moss?
Well, my moss?
This whole area is covered in moss, right?
Oh. Of course.
Okay.
I don't have moss that I consider mine.
Oh, you didn't grow it this year?
I did, but it is not my moss.
Oh,
It is the moss in this place now.
I see.
Yes, it's our moss.
I discovered this moss. It's mine.
I'm good without any moss. I'm fine.
I'm gonna get a little
Okay,
moss.
England.
I'm gonna put a little moss in my component pouch.
Okay. You can add moss to your inventory if you want.
I will. Sewer moss.
Yeah, there's nothing particularly special about this moss. You've seen it around,
It's sewer moss.
but it's very soft.
It's covered in shit.
Not here.
I can change that.
you could.
I think you should roll for that.
What do you think they used for toilet paper back before Charmin?
Corn husks.
Before bears invented
Yeah.
toilet paper.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you
Are we,
for
yes, are we rested now?
short
Yeah, I mean,
rested.
effectively, you all can continue having as much conversation with Muriel as you want. You are rested, though.
Well, thank you so much for your hospitality, Muriel.
Yes.
The curry
welcome.
was quite delicious.
Oh, I'm so glad you liked it.
Thank you so very much.
So,
Yes, you should have pretzel day now. And then I leave.
Yeah,
Right.
I think we'll be on our way.
I do have part of a pretzel left. Would you like some?
No, thank you.
Are you sure?
It's from this morning,
It's,
I think.
She sort of like does a little walk over and goes, "Yes, I'm sure."
Okay. It is a
She won't
shame.
have pretzel day.
I had a pretzel day all planned before we came down here in the sewers.
Have you rolled your next pretzel day check?
The pretzel day check comes at the end of the day. It's more of
Oh,
a
okay.
result rather
Makes
than
sense.
a status.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So
I'll look forward to that.
we would like to head west out of here. We'll turn south, going back into that sort of bendy area.
Okay.
And then when we get to that T-junction, we'll turn west again.
Okay,
So, that.
gotcha. So you make your way back down through the dark, winding tunnels of the sewer, leaving the much more pleasant aroma of Muriel's cottage, we'll call it, and re-entering into the fetid, slime-strewn walls of Nordfeld's sewer systems. At the T-junction, you look down the long hallway and it fades far into the darkness outside of your line of sight. You want to continue?
Yeah, we gotta go see these rodents about some stuff, I guess.
Yeah. Yes. Gotta go see a rodent about a thing.
You're leading the way still, right?
Yeah, I assume we're in the same
With
the same
your
order
with
as
your
we
hooded
were
lantern
previously.
and
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It'll be on my belt, and I'll have my swords out and everything.
And I'll be watching from behind.
We know there are frequent enemies in these sewers.
and Allset is stooped over because it's short here and here and sloshing along half blind because it's dark.
It's been a
Not
very
enjoying
pleasant
this
experience
day
for Seth.
as much
Doesn't
as
sound like you're having a pretzel day at all.
I was.
Man, at
I
this
have
rate,
a- I
I'm
have
gonna
a-
you roll your
I
pretzel
take-
check with disadvantage.
I take two.
Yeah.
I take two big bites of my pretzel,
Your plain pretzel.
my plain sea salt pretzel, hoping it will cheer me up.
Just two like really bitter, mean bites that just it's resentful.
Yes.
I will eat this pretzel in spite of the sewers.
You've had this pretzel in your pocket all day. As we go through these sewers and like wading through the sluices and all that stuff, I'm sure the pretzel tastes delicious.
Compared to the stuff in the sewer, yes.
I mean, sure.
Maybe. That's a big maybe.
Before we continue, I didn't do this check with everyone else because you hadn't eaten the curry. Is there anyone else that had any hit points to recover?
I had one,
Uh,
but we just had a short rest.
yeah, the short rest allows you to use
dice.
hit die to recover HP. However, in this particular case, you were provided with a restorative food, and that would have recovered the small bits of HP that you had lost.
I don't think Wilseth had any.
No, I didn't eat any
right?
of the curry because I was too large for it.
Well, she made extra, right?
Yeah, everyone could have had curry if they wished.
Okay.
So what
I
I'm
didn't
saying
have
is,
any
if
of
you
the first
have any hit points, feel free to reset your lost hit points at full.
And they brought our spell slots back.
No, it didn't.
It's not
Anything you get
that
back to the
good.
short rest.
I do not get spell slots back with the short rest.
Ah, lame.
Okay.
Okay. So
I
you,
would get Fury of the Smallback, but I hadn't used it, so
You should have used on that ooze.
I shoulda. I mean, I did like that last ooze. I did like 20-something damage to, so I don't think the
That's true.
one extra would have done anything.
you never know.
So Dromar, lead on.
Drumar will
Execute.
lead on, following Soria's directions.
The most proactive group. You keep heading down these sluice ways through the sewer system. This takes you 200-300 yards down the hall, and it is all westward. No more winding and curving through this part of it, but you do eventually, at the end of this tunnel, come to a sharp left turn that takes you southward. Ow! That was a sharp turn.
Check for
It's the
blade
Joker
traps
guts to
next
fight
time.
rats with.
It wasn't a trap. It was just the nature of the turn. It was very sharp. Cut myself on it.
There's a metaphysical sort of
Yeah.
Thank you for the warning, Jomar. I will be very careful
Oh,
as
you're
I make the
welcome.
turn.
Yes. Please do be careful.
You keep making your way down, now southward in this tunnel. And after about 150 yards or so, I would like... Dromar, you're in the front, right?
Yes.
And who is behind Dromar?
I believe it was Soria.
I thought I was
Zoria's
in
at
the
the
back because I had a lamp
Oh,
as
that's
well,
right.
and I was watching
That's
our
right.
back.
I guess that would be nines.
I guess it's me then.
Then, Dromar and Nines, I would like you to make a Constitution saving throw.
19.
Nice.
10.
Not so nice.
Okay. Nines, you are fine. You make the saving throw. Dromar did not make the saving throw for this.
Not surprising.
It's another sharp turn.
The air and indeed the water becomes significantly more disgusting all of a sudden. And Nines, your perhaps slightly more sensitive feline nose catches a whiff of something pretty quick, and you move to plug your nose and cover this, and you actually get your feet up out of the water too. So you're kind of doing this like, you're spreading your legs out on either side of the sluiceway here, and
So when I slip, everyone's gonna be just freaking out as I start screaming and just like
yeah, when you just go clawing up the side of the sewer and making sure that you dig your claws into everyone's legs as you do so.
oh, I would just climb up Olsef and just like
On the shoulder.
dig my claws right into his neck.
Jump up on my shoulders, yeah.
So you're fine. Dromar, however, you were, I'll say you were daydreaming a little bit, thinking about how good that curry was and maybe putting some nice crunchy maggots in it next time. And you suddenly get hit with this odor that's just so disgusting that you can't help but throw up. It's absolutely overpowering. And
Oh my goodness, this odor is so.
Dromar throws up everywhere.
Muriel's curry.
Oh,
and you take
Oh, it tasted better the first time.
and you
That makes
take,
you lose your hit points to get back from that.
I didn't gain back any hit points. I was at full health.
you take 1 point of Constitution damage on this.
No. Can I pick up the curry I threw up and eat it?
I mean, you
Yes,
can. The answer is yes, but the question is why.
Well, I want to get my hit point back.
It will not work that way. Although I suppose the more
Fair
correct
enough.
DM answer is, I mean, you can try.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Okay.
Nines might.
So the two of you
I
in the
didn't
back
throw up.
get the signal that
Doesn't
it's
mean you
pretty
won't eat it.
disgusting and successfully
I just start loading extra
yeah.
oregano into my smell pouch.
block your noses.
Sorry about that.
Do you-
Dromar will wipe off his face.
Do you continue down the tunnel towards
Yes.
the disgusting smell?
You
and
know what
water?
they say,
Yes.
you can't throw up twice.
I don't think they say that. I've definitely thrown up more than once before.
When? When did you
Dromar
do
is-
that?
I mean, not recently. Hopefully not soon either.
Yeah, but
see.
when? I kind of want to know.
Drummer is gonna take out a piece of cloth and wrap it around his face. It doesn't have any oregano
You
or
want some
scents in it or
oregano?
anything.
Sure, thank you.
Alright. I got a whole pizzeria in
You're
here.
just handing out
Oh,
oregano.
Foley.
Anyone else want some spices? I got a lot.
No.
It doesn't have to be oregano. I can do pretty much any spices.
How about some cloves?
Sure, yeah.
Oh, thank you very much.
I have,
Drummer will
Oh.
wrap some cloves in the.
I have an awesome
in the
little
cloth.
magic item that lets me pull out all sorts of
will.
spices.
I'll set,
You do?
Garlic?
I'll set C.
Yes.
I'll take garlic.
seeing what's going on here, asks for some. Do you have cinnamon as well as cloves? May I have a little of each?
Okay.
I mean, at this point, you guys are just making like actual potpourri.
Ooh.
I mean, you're in a sewer, like
No, we're not.
scenting with dry herbs and spices.
Nope.
It's potpourri.
Yeah, I can get any non-magical food
By the way,
seasoning.
7-year-olds, that's how it's said. Potpourri.
She's lying to you.
She's just saying that so
Fun
that
fact, DM
so
is
when
never
you say
lie.
it, when you say it out loud to your parents or something, then you'll get into trouble. So don't do that.
Don't trust anyone over 30.
Or under 30.
I'm just lying because I call it
Trust
butt
anyone,
turd.
children.
Now that we're all spiced up, let's,
Is that how you say
Ready
it?
for the
Nines?
roaster.
Make sure they know how to say it right.
When Sawyer gives me the cloves, does she start like studding me with them and like basting me or anything?
no, I do go, the spice must flow.
Nice. Can't
So
wait
we were
for
just
that
using
movie, by
Old
the way.
Spices to
thought
like
you were good.
help with the smell.
No
Old
Patrick
Spices,
Stewart
yes.
in that.
Yeah. Is that better than Axe?
Yes.
Everything's better than Axe. Axe is the Fazoli's of deodorants.
We're never getting sponsored by Fazoli's at this rate.
And yeah.
That's right.
And Old Spice is like the Sabaros? Is that it? Can we
Why does
Time
it
to
have to
time,
be
I enjoy it.
Sbarro?
Olive Garden?
All right. Execute, onward.
Execute.
Yes, Drumrock goes onward.
We
Now
follow
that we've
behind.
seasoned ourselves for when the rats eat us.
Yeah.
Now that I am glazed with honey.
You did that before we got in here.
Correct.
Okay. I'm glad we were prepared for this.
This is devolved. We're professionals, everyone. You continue
Now I'm
on
hungry.
further down. You continue further on down the hallway.
I want a honey glazed goblin.
After about 50 or so yards past where Dromar threw up, do you leave like a little chalk mark of that's where Dromar threw up on the walls?
I draw a very detailed picture of the event.
Oh, very good.
Oh, by the way, I have been marking the hallways, but since we wanted to get back to Muriel's, I was doing a little caricature of Muriel at the turns so that we
A
knew the way
caricature?
back.
Oh, very good.
Which of her features did you exaggerate?
Her eyes.
Her eyes.
Yeah.
Not the tongue.
No. No.
That would have been a good trick if you just drew a giant tongue. So whenever we got to where we were, you just looped back and went all the way back.
I like it.
Yeah, I could have done that, but I wasn't. No. I just drew big eyes.
Opportunities. So you arrive in this next room,
Oh, a room.
and this room very immediately sends some red flags up for pretty much all of you. Well, every one of you has
Is
had
it like a referee or something?
every one of you
Around the
has,
game.
in one way or another,
You're out.
seen, nests of rodents. You all come from different parts of the world, and you have all seen different ways that rodents make their nests, but large in part, rodentian nests are fairly similar. Loose things gathered up into piles with a seemingly too small hole that they can scurry into. This room is filled with nests, piled on top of each other, in large mounds and almost column-like structures, sticking together with some sort of yellowish goo that's holding a lot of these loose piles of garbage. Some of it pieces of sticks and leaves and things. You see straight pillows poking out, some saucepans and stuff like that. It's just this mishmash of awful, rusting, rotting things, and they're kind of almost honeycombed into this room. You can see on both your left and right that these are piled up, taking up what was once a landing space, like you've seen in other rooms, where you have the sluiceway, and then you have some concrete landings on one side of it or the other, if not both. And that no longer exists here. It's completely covered with rat nests, piled up all the way to the ceiling.
Do we
Make
see
a
any
stealth
rats?
check.
I was gonna say maybe we should sneak.
And because Dromer and Nines are in front, you two make the stealth check as you're the first ones to cross into this room.
You should use
I got a
detect magic
9.
on me, isn't it?
I was about to say, Nines, actually, I'd like you to roll with advantage here. I'm playing into the cat flavor just a little bit.
Well, that did not help.
I got a 24.
Okay. When you enter, Dromar, you're a little bit more composed. I mean, you are a natural, sneaking, talented individual at this point. You've trained
That's
for
right.
it. So you make barely any noise as you enter this room. Nines, although your sort of natural instincts here are kind of kicking in, the whole environment just has you thrown off. And you splash around in the water a little bit as you're stepping, kind of losing that grip you'd had on the sides. And you make a little like, ew as you go in there.
Ew.
Um,
Rats
you
everywhere.
you
Gross.
hear a scurrying noise off on the far side of the room. The far side of the room's long enough where you can't see all the way to the end.
I got a bad feeling about this.
So we hear a scurrying noise at the far side of the room.
Yes, a
Do
fairly
we
loud one. It sounds like multiple creatures are scurrying.
looking around, is there anywhere to hide?
You
You
could
can hide in one of the nests.
Yeah,
Aside
you could
from the
hide in one of the
nest.
nests. You could try to duck behind them. I mean, it's up to you. I think, Dromar, you'd have a chance at squeezing inside one of the nests. I think everyone else would probably be a bit too large to try to fit inside them. You could, in theory, try to hide behind some of the piled up nests and hope they just don't come that way. But there's not a lot of good hiding places here.
Do we know
Everyone-
what's going on?
There's
Well, I'm turning and telling
Yeah,
you.
I mean, you two, you weren't in front, so I didn't have you make the stealth checks, but you guys are close, so you hear the scurrying as well, and you see what's going on, yeah.
everyone. There's rats coming. Hide or make ready or something.
Can I
And
try and
Dromar is gonna jump behind one of the rat nests.
can I try and listen if they're coming towards us or away from us? Can I try and listen and judge for that? Like, is it getting louder or quieter?
Yeah, make a perception check for
I'm
this one.
thinking we might have spooked them.
And
Could be.
you do that in Dromar.
And I'm
you make a
guidance.
stealth check because you said you wanted to hide.
I'm gonna guidance.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Bad roll. 10 total.
27.
Dromar, you hide inside one of the rat nests quite easily, finding one of the larger holes and diving right in. Basically, the only way that you'd be found now is if the rat that lives in that nest came looking inside it. You're well hidden. As for your result, Soria, you do hear the noise fade away. It vaguely sounds like they were moving away from you. But there's a lot of echoes in here, and you can't be sure of the direction. But the noise does fade.
Well, I'll try and hide back against the wall in the tunnel before the room. I know it's not really a good spot, but
Sure.
I whisper to Jomar. Here I am whispering. Jomar! Are Are you able
Yes,
to?
yes.
Are you able to see any other way out of the room?
Let me see. Give me just a second.
Dromar is going to, since he's hiding and hopefully has a pretty good vantage point, he's gonna take out his spyglass and see if he can look around and see the. I guess there's just one other exit to the room aside from where we can.
You have dark vision, right?
I do have dark vision, yeah.
Okay. So you pull out your spyglass, and I'm trying to figure out like how does the spyglass work with dark vision and like all the like kind of mechanics and physics behind it. So I'll say that it's not providing you the full benefit here because it's still very dark and there's really no light, but there is still magnification of some light and things like that. So it gives you a little bit, being my own glasses, a little bit more distance to look out. And you can just start to see what you think is the other side of the room. It's a little vague. It's kind of like, if like the power goes out in your office building or something, and you're like, okay, I think I know where everything is, but it's dark, and you're like, I'm not sure, and you're like in a dark bathroom, something like that. You're just not 100%. You have a vague idea of what's there, and you think there's another hall that continues on the other side of the room, but it's a little hard to see. You don't, however, see any movement at the moment, which I think is kind of the critical piece you were looking for.
Okay. Go ahead.
So does it look like there was an exit on the other side?
It sounds like I didn't quite see if there was an exit.
You get the sense that, I mean, through logic and what you are trying to piece together of the shapes that you're vaguely making out in the distance, you get the idea that there's probably an exit that way. You just can't say with 100% certainty.
But you said there's no walkway, it's just the sluice and the rat nests.
That is correct. The rats have completely occupied this landing area that this room is, yeah.
So theoretically, one could climb over the rat's nests to get to the other side without going through the sluice. You just might make noise and might collapse it.
Or wake up something that's in the nest.
Is that all correct?
That would all be potentially correct. Yeah, you could make your way up onto the rat's nests and walk through the winding mountains and over the massive piles of rat nesting material, some of which goes all the way up to the ceiling, and make your way over there without being in the sluiceway the entire time.
How deep is the stuff in the sluice?
In the sluice, through most of your adventures in these sewers, it's been like 3 to 6 inches of water in the sluiceway.
So we could walk through. We could walk in the sluice.
You've never had any trouble walking in the sluice. There's been some parts where there's fast water, but it's not deep.
Okay. Does this water look particularly fast?
This water looks particularly disgusting.
Like chunky. And
it doesn't, like this water seems like it's very, very fetid. This water does not seem to be moving. You can quickly surmise that the rats might have blocked up some of this water with a whole bunch of filth, and it's just impeding the movement. But this water here isn't really moving as well as the rest of it. It's super gross in here.
It's like alphabet soup, except that the alphabet is rat poop.
Yes. I will climb back out, and I will say to the rest of the party, I will say,
I think the exit is over there, and it seems like there's no rats, at least not awake, in this room right now. I think we should try to get across the sluice and get out of here as quickly as possible before they come back.
Quick or quiet?
Both, ideally.
I think I can only do one of those, probably.
Let's do quiet then.
Okay.
I agree, Chomar. It is either that we go through or we go back.
And these rat nests are full of like garbage and stuff, right?
Yeah, like a mixture of garbage and like
Detritus.
natural elements and detritus and yeah. There's
Maybe
some mix.
as we're passing through, if you have it, maybe throw your detect magic up, see if they have any sort of like magic stuff that they've used as a nest material.
I could do detect magic.
That
as
way we don't
walk
have
through.
to stop and like look through them, but if we just spot something.
I'll
Good
follow.
idea.
I'll follow directly behind Jomar, and I will use my detect magic as we walk in the
Okay.
sluice of bad stuff.
I have a question. The curry healed us.
Yes.
So I wasn't missing any hit points, but I did have the sprained ankle. Was that healed?
No, that was not healed. The power of these restorative herbs are not
Exhaustion.
not quite that fast acting. They can close up some minor cuts and wounds and things like that. But the sprained ankle will require a little bit more attention than that.
Okay.
How bad is your stealth?
It does not hurt quite as badly, however.
Okay. Fair enough. So did we see anything with the
Okay,
detect
plus
magic? Or did Ulsa see anything, rather, I should say?
Well, are we walking through? Are we,
Yeah, I think we need to.
As you begin to make your way through,
we are very, 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 very quietly executing our walk through the rat's
I'm gonna
nest.
get myself guidance if we do.
I guess we should make stealth checks.
Execute.
since you're all moving now together in this area, I want everyone to make a stealth check.
25.
18.
21.
Okay.
16.
Okay.
Not bad.
You make it about halfway through this area, and not detecting any magic so far. Why don't you all make a dexterity check?
Check or
A dexterity check?
A saving throw, excuse me. A dexterity saving throw as you near the end of the tunnel.
Ooh, needed that.
21.
Nines?
13.
Ulseth?
Nat 20 plus 2, 22.
Okay.
Nice.
And, sorry?
6.
Okay.
And that was the saving throw?
There's a saving throw, yes.
I couldn't guidance myself.
All right. Since you're in a line and moving, what happens is this.
Sori isn't
Dromar,
back, right?
Usually, yeah.
Sori isn't back, and then one up forward is Ulseth, if I'm remembering your order correctly, then Nines, then Dromar?
No, Dromar
Yeah.
and then me.
Oh, is
Dromar
it?
Hines, Olsef, and...
Dromar, Olseth, Nines, Zoria.
Oh, okay.
I moved up to second because I was detecting magic as we went along.
Oh, okay. That
Okay.
makes sense.
Then, thank you for the clarification. Then what happens, as you get near the end of this tunnel, a very large, very diseased, very pissed off looking rat bursts out from one of these nests. He's like, and it is just flinging itself wildly around, knocks over two huge nest piles, like these columns of nests, knocks them over, is jumping at you guys. Ulseth, that you, after Dromar is like, ah, and just like gets out of the way, move, ducks
Dromar
underneath.
would never just go,
But-
"Pew."
But Ulseth,
You would go, oh,
No,
You
Drummer
actually-
does not cower.
no.
you actually, because you're net 20, you grab Nines behind you and pull him back to safety out of the way of this falling pile of crap and this attacking rat. And Soria, you get thwacked in the head with something heavy, looks like maybe some sort of frying pan, And you
Flame
take
on.
you take take 1 point of bludgeoning damage.
And I assume we're rolling initiative now.
No, the rat
Oh.
jumped out, went, and then just ran away down the hall.
Oh, that was weird.
However,
How big was this rat?
at least as big as Dromar, if not slightly larger than Dromar.
Oh, that was an unusually
This-
large rat.
Yeah, it was a rodent of unusual size.
Did you detect any magic on the rat?
I don't know, did I?
No, you did not
was not a
detect any
magic rat?
magic in any of this room. The real problem for you all now is that the rat knocked over 2 massive piles of nesting material, and it has blocked the way forward.
Did we bring that wheelbarrow?
But we
We
do
still
have
have working crowbar.
I have a crowbar.
Yeah, you've got the tactical crowbar, and I've got a regular crowbar, and I think Soria does too.
Yep. But wait. So how
How
insurmountable of a pile does this look like?
I mean, it's a disgusting fetid pile of rat nesting.
Are there any other exits that I can see looking around?
Well, why don't you make a perception check on this one?
Let's see.
Oh, you rolled already.
It was fine. I got a 17 plus perception plus 5, so 22.
You look over, and on your back left, which would be the east side of the room, about 2/3 of the way down the south direction for the room, you see the hint near the top of the room of a ladder.
Oh, there's a ladder over there.
I'll run over and see what number it is.
All right. Why don't you make a quick climb check? This is fairly precarious territory because you're climbing up
Guidance.
nasty, fetid rat mounds.
I will definitely use the guidance on this one. That's helpful. 11 plus... You said climb check. What kind of...
I guess would that be?
Well, you can use your athletics check for this, and you can roll with advantage because you have some climbing equipment.
Oh, okay.
You have the pittons, and you could use those to dig in and climb up, and
Well, that
kind of keep
roll
yourself
is
from
much
falling.
worse. So... Athletics, it's going to be a total of 16.
All right, you managed to scurry your way up to the top of this rat mound, kind of slipping a little bit each time. You place a foot, but you managed to get up there without all that much difficulty, and do so safely. So when you get up to the top, you have to clean off the cover that's at the top of this roof here, and it says 01 dash 7349.
Soria, what was the number we're looking for?
75-0184.
Nope, this isn't it. Well, I don't think we want to leave the sewer and expose ourselves and our mission until we need to. So I say we try to make our way through the
We either
collapsed rat nest.
try and dig through a collapsed rat nest, or we go back through the bug route.
I
Yeah,
hate the bugs.
the
let's
rat's
try
nest.
to dig through.
Yes, this is not heavy material. We had dug through tunnels and rubble
Yeah.
and rocks.
And when
also
says
big
we,
tunnel
he
through.
means himself mostly.
Yeah.
I have, with your encouragement, done much excavation.
If we're digging
Yes.
through this, I would like to stand far back so I don't have to make the unvariable constitution saves from digging through rat nest.
I will
I will.
try to assist Wilseth
I'll give you guidance though.
Thank you.
as best as I can.
I will begin removing rat's nest material from where I know the exit is because we saw it before it got collapsed, right?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
And you can still see kind of a vague outline of where it is, so you don't have to guess at where to dig.
Yeah. And knowing that this is material that could fall because we saw that happen, I'll be starting at the top and working my way down. And I will say,
I'm not going to be much of assistance. I rolled 3 on the die. If it's a strength check, then that is a 2 for my
You
assistant.
should have just given him an advantage.
perhaps as I remove material and drop it down, if there is something like a twig or a balloon, you may move it aside so
This balloon is so heavy.
so that it is out of our way when we make our way through. Nines, perhaps you
like
could
a
also
lead
assist
balloon.
in moving things away.
Gross though. Fine.
I begin to pull things down from the top down so as not to cause a further collapse of the collapsed material.
How many times can Wilseth say collapse in a sentence?
So I ask you, do you want to take? Do you just want to take your time on this, or are you trying to kind of move through quickly?
Quickly. Faster, Olsef! I don't want to be in here.
I am being encouraged to go as quickly as I can with moderate safety.
That
Okay.
counted as bardic inspiration, by the way. Just yelling at Olsef.
Very inspiring.
You have bardic inspiration
And guidance.
Guidance, and I want you to make. I'm trying to figure out like what's the most appropriate digging check, and I think I'm gonna go with.
Athletics.
Yeah, I think athletics here.
What are we digging with? A crowbar?
I'm digging with my hands and a crowbar.
You're digging with your hands?
And a crowbar. Well, some of these things
Yeah, I mean,
you
it's
just
hard
pick
to
up
dig
and
with a crowbar. You can like pry things.
We need to
but
invest in a shovel at this. Like,
the shovel wouldn't help with this kind of
We have
interlocking.
previously
weird-
had shovels, but
Okay, go ahead and make the roll.
Well, gee, I'm going to save my inspiration for later.
You only have 10 minutes for that.
27.
yeah, it only lasts
Oh,
10
well,
minutes.
okay. 32.
Okay. You managed to dig through this pretty quickly, and
Thank you for the assistance.
I also want you to make a Constitution saving throw
There it is.
because you were digging through this using your hands. So make a Constitution saving throw.
Should have saved the inspiration.
That's
Wilseth now
why
has
everyone who
tetanus.
watches the stream of this is going to see the moment when I go, "Yep, might have wanted to save that."
Yeah, well, 17.
Okay, you still managed to save.
but you still have tetanus.
You avoid getting cut up by pieces of glass and sharp little fragments of metal that are in this stuff. It's clearly not safe stuff. What they're using
Jomar, be
here.
very careful.
So-
Some of these objects are sharp. Almost as sharp as that turn that hurt you before.
That was a very sharp turn. Thank you for warning me, Wilseth.
You are welcome.
You have now cleared the way and can continue on if you so desire to.
Execute.
Is there
Dromar will.
is there anything
go
I
ahead.
can use to wipe off my gloves?
There's fetid
I
water.
use Dromar's clothes.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, this fetid water.
What happens if you wipe your hands off on your magic armor that doesn't get dirty?
I do not know.
It gets dirty.
But it's like it magically repels dirt, right?
I would
do
rule that because your armor has the gleaming enchantment on it, that you could not actually wipe your hands on your armor.
Because
It would
of
just
the-
stay
I
on
mean,
your
you
hand.
could go like this and, try, but it would just keep the dirt or oil or grease or whatever on you.
I ask, Does anyone in the party have an extra piece of cloth? Perhaps a troll
Dromar will
loincloth?
pull out his loincloth and offer it to Ulsa.
Thank you.
Still around.
And I
You're
wrap it up
welcome.
in the
Wait,
troll
you have
loincloth.
that?
And the troll
Please,
loincloth.
yeah, that's my loincloth, not the troll
Oh
loincloth.
no.
Please,
Which one gets washed more?
please clean that and return it to me later once it's been freshly laundered.
I will do that. Thank you very much. For now, it is an improvement.
Glad to hear it.
Dromar will lead the way along the newly uncovered path.
All right. As you make your way down the newly opened tunnel, you go about 120-ish yards southward, and you come to another T-junction.
Which, so
The T-junction goes off, to the east, and to the south it continues.
I say we continue to the south.
Yes, we had decided not to go east.
And I think
Yeah.
that would just go to the other side of a barred gate if this is that we passed
Dromar
already.
will continue on.
Can I do a perception check to see if I can see any signs of where the rat went?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. I'd like to look for rat tracks.
That's a 17.
Okay. Yeah, nines. I won't make you roll, Soria, because nines successfully spots some rat tracks. They aren't that hard to see once you start looking around for them. They are these like really disgusting little super oily, greasy paw pad print things running along the sides of the wall, staying kind of out of the sluiceway. And just above the water on each side, you can see it's kind of switching and hopping at various moments from one side to the other. And it is going southward.
I assume there's like a ton of rat prints though, because they use this a lot.
There are quite a few rat prints, but you see some ones that look particularly fresh.
And large.
Yes, yes.
And
And there's
charged.
more than one set that looks fresh. You can say there's, maybe as many as a half a dozen or more tracks that look fairly fresh.
I vote we don't go towards group of army rats.
Which direction are those going in?
It looks like they're going southish.
But isn't that where we need to go?
I mean, this place go all over place, so maybe we'll find another sharp left turn that hurts you.
I don't like that. And if we're trying to go southwest right now. So if we go east, that's like the opposite of where we want to go.
Oh, that is
gone
very
through
good
hairpins
directionating.
I feel like
Dromar?
our choice basically is go in the direction of the directions we know to go. We either definitely fight rats or we maybe fight bugs, but we're already on the rat path.
I say we keep going.
Well,
we're
let's
on the-
continue with Rock Pack.
Yes.
Maybe
And
we'll
if we are
find
on
Frank
the,
Sinatra.
it is good to follow the rat path.
We will follow the rat path.
Yep.
Okay.
Execute.
Southward you go.
Great, to more disease.
You continue your travels down another 100 yards or so, and you come to a room similar to another room that you had seen earlier. It's circular. It's similar to the four-way intersection that you had come to much earlier in your adventures in the sewer, except there are only two ways to go out of this room. The one that you had entered, which is on the north side, and then another one at a 90-degree to this entrance that's off to the west. There's
Is there
also a
anything in
ladder
this room?
in this room.
Dromar will climb up and take a look at the number on the ladder.
Okay. When you get to the top, you see the numbers 75, dash 0164.
We're really close.
Okay.
Where?
Well, we should probably go on the west hallway then.
If the numbering convention, well, I have no idea what the numbering convention is, but we're only like 20 off.
Okay, well, we're heading in the right direction, it seems.
Can I, when I get down from the ladder, can I do just like, look around the room, see if there's anything else, anything of value, maybe that's hidden in a corner or something?
It's a round room.
You can make an investigation check.
In a round corner.
You're gonna be searching for the corners for the rest of eternity.
I got a 14.
You take a pretty thorough look through the room, but you don't actually find anything that's of significant value down here.
Okay.
Does this room have a drain in it like the other round rooms?
I mean, the sluiceways go each way, but there's no drain in this
okay.
one.
Is Ulseth's detect magic still going, or
I think it lasts for like a round.
Yeah.
It lasts for
okay,
a
then
round. When you're out of combat, I allow a little bit of leeway on that and kind of give you a second or two to move about a room. But yeah.
Okay. Well, then I will lead the way down the west hallway.
Okay. Going down the west hallway, out of this room, you enter into another long, rectangular room. Similar in some respects to the length and width of that very large, fast-flowing water room where you guys fought the second set of oozes. But this one is markedly different from that in a far more disturbing way. The sight before you strikes absolute horror into all of you. This room has a platform on the southern side of it, actually quite near where you enter. It's only about 10-15 feet from where you enter. It isn't very wide, but it's quite long, and in the corner, we're at, like I said, pretty close to you, there is a circle of chalk and low burning candles. Still lit, but nearly out of wax and wick. You get the sense that these are ritual lines that are drawn on the ground, and they are all covered in blood, bits of bone and flesh litter the surrounding area. A jagged knife, blood-stained, of course, rests on the ground near the center of this circle. Runes are drawn in some dark ichor on the walls. They mean nothing to any of you, but even looking at them causes mild pain, as though you weren't meant to look at them at all. I want you all to make a wisdom saving throw right now.
Wisdom.
Dirty 20.
6.
18.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
Everyone except Ulseth made the save here, and you are pained to look at these runes, and you sort of like avert your eyes from them.
It is painful to
Ulseth-
even keep my eyes open.
Almost like a certain elected leader stares just for a moment too long at it, and you take 1 point of psychic damage.
That's not bad.
Just even looking at this has made my head hurt.
Dromar will, like, brandish his weapons and look around the room really quickly to see if he sees anything else.
Guidance.
All right. We'll call this a perception because you're not sure what
That's
you're
what I
looking
figured.
for.
Guidance.
Yeah. 13.
All right. Looking around the room, studying carefully, You don't see any signs of movement in this room. Indeed, it's actually a little quieter, almost eerily so, than the other rooms that you've been in. You study for a moment and then realize that you actually can't quite hear the sounds of water flowing through here. You can see the water moving, but it's as though the sound is almost muted or repressed. You don't see any movement, but you do feel this area is a place that you shouldn't linger for too very long. It's disturbing to be here.
There's dark magic in here. I don't like it, but I'm guessing this is maybe the room that what was the bullywog's name again?
Muriel.
Muriel, thank you. That Muriel was mentioning that she'd seen people come to before.
I want to see if I can identify what the bones and flesh might have come from.
All right. I'm debating on which check I want
Medicine,
you to make.
nature, or something.
Okay, I think the way that you would try to analyze it, why don't we make it a medicine check? Because
Since I'm trained.
you are trained in that, and I think that's probably where you would resort to.
Okay, guidance. That was almost a natural 20, but it rolled on a 2 instead, so 11.
Although you can't be certain what these little bits and pieces are from, you get the sense based on the shape and size of the bone fragments that you're seeing that it's likely humanoid. You can't tell from a particular species, but you get the sense it's probably not an animal. None of these look like animal bones. They are a bit thicker than small animals would be and don't quite match the shape and structure of larger ones.
You said is the dagger the only weapon in the room?
That you have noticed, at least, yes, that's the only weapon that you have seen.
I'm gonna go.
The
grab
room
the
is quite
dagger.
long, so long that it fades out of your field of vision after a while, so there's a lot of the room that you can't see.
Gotcha. Well, I'm gonna grab the dagger.
Okay. You have a bloodied, kind of gnarled looking dagger. This looks like... It looks mean. It looks nasty. It does not look like it's meant to, be a combat weapon. This looks like it's meant to hurt something.
Can
Yeah.
I do an Arcana check or something to see if I can determine what the goal of this what this circle was and stuff?
You can try, yeah.
Okay, guidance.
I want to do the same thing, but on the dagger specifically. See if I can tell anything if it's magical or enchanted or anything like that.
Are we going through this room?
We might need to.
Then I just go towards the door instead of lingering here.
I only got an 11 on my Arcana check.
All right, we'll go through each of the checks, and then I'll resolve Nine's action. What was your result?
25.
All right. This is an unfamiliar magic to you. So I'm to give a little bit of a metagame here.
Filtering it.
You did roll quite well and got a very good result, but this is not something you've encountered before. Normally I don't talk about the numbers that way, but you get the sense this is a very destructive ritual that was done here. This draws off of magics that you feel are very negative in the way that they resonate with you. This is a powerful and destructive force. Nothing of creation was made here. No healing was done. And that might be sort of patently obvious to everyone else, but you can feel the resonance of the magic as you take time to sort of absorb that and feel that with your druidic senses, that this is just a very disturbing form of magic. This was done with harm as its intent.
Does it feel like arcane in nature, or can I not tell really?
It's not.
It's
you
definitely
have
not
run into
nature magic.
you have run into arcane magics before.
I mean, Nines does an arcane.
Yeah, this is not traditionally arcane magic.
Okay.
This is certainly not fey magic.
Mm-hmm.
This falls into some other school, some other realm that you haven't seen before. So a lot of it eludes you, just because you've never run into anything like this. As for Dromar, you study the dagger, and although not nearly as well schooled as Soria, you have a little bit of knowledge from your line of work on what these things might be. You've been asked to steal items of magical value and power in the past. This doesn't seem to have any of the telltale signs of a magic item. There's no runes carved into it, which are kind of the first thing that you look for. It doesn't feel like particularly warm or cold or give off any sort of non-natural sense to it. You can't be certain because you are not magically trained, but you don't have any overt sense that this is a magic item. It seems to just be a particularly nasty and destructive looking dagger.
Okay,
Now-
then I'll just wipe it off and stow it in my pack.
All right. As for Nines, you have a decision to make. There is, on the north side of this room, just to your right as you enter. So all of this I've described is very close to where you enter, just a few feet away from the easternlymost entrance. About the same distance away, north, there is a way out of this room that continues on into what look to be fairly familiar looking sewers. They don't seem to have this same sort of ominous presence up there. And of course, you can continue further westward down this hall,
Down deeper into the room.
deeper into this room.
How overwhelming is the sense of dread in this room?
I think that's a personal.
I mean, there's a lot of it's kind of personal, but this is fucked up. This is something really dark happened here. I mean, you just looked at magic runes that were like pained you to look at them, and Ulseth is sort of recovering from like a shock migraine at the moment from having seen them and stared just slightly too long. So, well, it's really creepy. How creepy Nines finds it? That's up to Nines.
Depends. If there's a spirit, then my character is just going to stare directly at it and not tell anyone what I'm staring at.
You don't see a spirit.
Then,
did you say why not?
Why don't you just stare at nothing and freak us out? Yeah.
I want to leave the room. I'm going to go towards you said the north entrance.
There,
It's not that far. Then I'm going to go towards
it's just
that.
about 10-15 feet to the north of you.
Yep, I walk in, like, nope. And then I turn course and just go towards the other exit.
Can I want to try something that might be stupid.
Okay.
In a D&D
I have a high wisdom save. I wanna try and sketch some of these symbols in my journal.
Okay. There are 5 runes in total here. Mm-hmm. And if you want to start sketching them, you're fairly certain that it's going to be a bit of a arduous task.
I'm gonna try one. The leftmost one.
Okay, so they're in a They're sort of in a circle.
Oh, okay. I thought they were sort of along
They're-
the wall.
I mean, they're on the walls, but they're
They're in
are
a
like
circle on the wall.
yeah. So
I'll start at the top.
I'll say sort of the topmost one. Go ahead and make a wisdom saving throw.
While Soria is doing that, Dromar is going to make his way
20.
around the
30.
perimeter of the room, searching, well, I guess around the whole room, depending on how long it takes her. Searching, seeing if there's anything he can find, anything else of interest, of note, of worth, anything like that.
Why don't you maybe go?
Okay, so you're continuing. So you've got 9's going northward, and you're gonna keep searching around the room here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm furiously scribbling demonic symbols into a journal. This is going well.
So I am gonna
I had enough
start
problem with
compartmentalizing
blood
here a
magic
little
in
bit.
these things. So.
Olseth is going to go across to the north side. Is there a walkway on the north side like there usually is in these places?
Yeah. The sluice way is in the center. There's a walkway on the north side. There's a little corner walkway. Yeah. So where this all comes together, where you guys came in, and there's a small landing pad, about like a 10 by 10 landing pad in the corner on the north side, and there's a little corner there. And then that is where the exit north, just when that's done on the other side of us 10 feet, then it goes out to the north. And then there's more walkway on the other side of that sluiceway.
I'm going to cross over to the north side, over to the west of the north exit. And what my intent is to try to keep an eye on everybody.
Okay.
Okay. I'm keeping an eye on the exit where 9's went. I'm watching Dromar search as he goes west, and I'm watching Zoria fight off migraine headaches, copying down runes.
Okay. We're going to do a little bit of compartmentalization of each action that happens here and resolve each one at a time. We will start.
And I have my weapons at ready.
So Ulseth is nervous. That's the that's the vibe I'm getting. The first one we will resolve because 9's, you're going to have quite a few options ahead of you. So we'll save you for last, since you have the most potential on your pathway here. Soria, since yours is the most focused, we'll start with you. You got a 20 on your a wisdom saving throw.
Yes.
You are able to draw the first rune. I'll give them to you. As many as you get, I will give them to you after the session's over.
Oh, okay, cool.
You managed to get the first one down. It is very challenging, and your eyes are straining. You feel like kind of a black ring slowly closing, and the longer you look at it, the more that ring kind of tightens around your vision. But you do manage to finish that rune. As you do, and you kind of look away and you shake it out. That black ring slowly starts to recede a little bit.
I'll go for another.
Go ahead. Same thing. Wisdom saving throw.
Nat 1, which is an 8.
Oh no.
I mean, there's not in 5e. There's no critical failures. I don't particularly like critical failures, but you do not succeed. So as you start to draw this, much more quickly than last time, that black ring starts to close and shift red as it gets closer and closer and closer and closer. And you're trying to furiously scribble and scribble and scribble and scribble. And then you just scream out in agony. And you take just 1 point of psychic damage.
I'll take my good berry that I have.
Okay. You do not manage to copy this rune down. It was too painful to complete. You got about half of it.
Olseth, here's
And you don't even know if that's accurate because you just scribbled so much.
Olseth, of course, here's the scream. Zoria, are you all right? Do you need assistance?
I'm okay for the moment.
If you do need help, let me know.
Okay, I will probably scream again if I need help.
I will listen for that.
Are you going to continue?
I wanna try once more.
Okay, we're going to pause there for a moment, and then we're going to go Dromar. Dromar, you are going down this room, and I want you to make a perception check as you go down this room.
That is. How does the DM inspiration work? Can I use that to get advantage, or?
I think that's the one that allows you to have. Is it the advantage one?
It's whichever one you want.
I believe
whatever
so.
you
Yeah.
want it to.
Yeah, I mean,
You gave it.
Yeah.
It's your inspiration.
That's true, I guess. I'm momentarily forgetting the exact wording on those rules. So sure, advantage. You can burn it to have advantage on this one.
okay, I'm gonna burn it for that then.
Yeah.
That's much better. Okay, so you said perception.
Yes.
That'll be a dirty 20.
Okay. You
The first one was a 7, so.
you see some shadows moving quickly on the edges of your vision along the walls. They look vaguely humanoid. They seem to be moving in near silence. And they're moving very quickly. The further you go down this room, you see one, and you're not quite sure if it was there, and then you see another. Just kind of in the corners of your vision, you're catching these things as you move down this room. You want to keep going?
It's just shadows? I don't see any people or anything like that.
It is unnaturally dark in here. Your lantern is providing the same light that it always does, but it's just a little bit harder to see for some reason.
What direction are the shadows going in?
All directions. You've caught them moving both ways down this tunnel.
At, like the edges of the lamplight or something.
Basically, kind of. You're catching them in your peripheral.
Do they seem to be reacting to me at all, as far as I can tell?
You haven't gotten quite enough information to know if they're reacting to you or not.
I'm gonna keep going. Should I also roll an investigation check?
What are you trying to investigate?
I'm trying to see if there's anything else in the room, like what's on the platform, which I doubt there is, and so more importantly, I'm trying to see if there's anything of value in the room, or a ladder.
Okay, so you're looking for a ladder or valuable things, basically.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make an investigation check for the distance you've traveled so far.
That's gonna be a 21.
You don't see anything that's really catching your eye as far as like a valuable object. No glinting, no shiny objects, nothing that looks like a small chest or anything. It's, sewers. You do, however, see a ladder. You've traveled thus far about 60 feet down this way, and you're beginning to... Well, Seth is beginning now to lose sight of you, and you're beginning to lose sight of your group. The ladder that you're seeing is about another 60 feet further down this room, continuing to move away from the group westward.
On the north wall? So.
Yeah, oh, yes. Oh, sorry. It's on the north wall where this ladder is.
Man, I'm gonna go toward the ladder.
Okay.
Did Nines just walk away?
Yeah, we have not got Nines. Nines has quite a few options ahead of him, so that's why we're going to go with Nines last on this, because we'll have a bit more to resolve. But as you move further down,
I let Dromar know. Dromar, you are moving so far, I can no longer see you. I cannot help if I cannot see you.
Use the body system.
There's a ladder over this way, Seth. I'm gonna check it out.
Be careful.
What was that number again that we're looking for?
750184.
750184. Thank you.
And then I just start speaking in weird tongues. I'm just not.
Like normal.
As you go further down, you are now fully out of sight of your compatriots. You cannot see the group, and they cannot see you at this point. You have traveled several hundred feet down this way, and you're still seeing little shadows moving out of the corners of your eyes. As you get to the ladder, you find that there's no completed ladder here. The bottom is missing. There's some rungs up at the top, but the ladder has been rusted or broken or shorn off of the rest of its fastenings, and it lays here. There is, however, a little placard that you see on the wall, and it looks to be kind of like a safety, a dummy sort of placard, in case you can't get to the top. They've been on all of them, but not always visible. For example, the rats were covered with crap, literal crap. As you look at this placard, you see the numbers. Hold them up. 750174.
I'm closer.
Okay.
And I want you now to make a wisdom saving throw.
Nat 20.
Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Right.
Yeah, we know.
Okay.
From
So
that dice you got at Geekified.com.
Yeah.
there is there's sort of a flash of brightness that you don't really see it. It doesn't seem like it's coming from anywhere. It's like from inside your head. You just, things become very bright, and all your surroundings fade out for a moment, and then you come back. You're disoriented for just a moment. You're looking around. The room seems a little less dark now for you, and you don't feel quite as disturbed.
I'm gonna
And
look
you-
to where.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm gonna look to where I saw the shadows. Do I notice anything different?
You're not seeing them anymore.
Interesting. I will continue making my way around the room, investigating for anything of interest or import or value.
All right. As you cross to the southern side of the room, having reached the end of the hallway you're at now, you do see a sluiceway going south. It is, however, barred off. And we're going to take a quick break right there. So, everyone, go get yourselves something to drink. That's what I'm going to do. I'm very thirsty for some reason. Use the bathroom, take your pets out, what have you. We will be right back, and we'll continue on with this disgusting adventure through the cult horror crypt, apparently. See you guys. Welcome back, everybody. You're watching Dice and Dungeons. And when we left off, the party had just wandered into, well, some sort of dark
Murder cult.
murder cult room where some sort of sacrifice had taken place. Soria was attempting to copy down the runes on the wall, which were causing you to take psychic damage. Dromar wandered down the hall, found a ladder, saw a bunch of shadows, a bright light, and then seemed to be okay. And had just discovered that there is one more path out of this room. It is, however, blocked by bars. And that's where we left off, with Dromar on the south side of this room.
So I had just gotten to the bars when we broke.
Yes,
Correct?
you just got to the bars when we took a break.
Okay, I'm gonna peer through the bars. What do I see?
A sluiceway. It looks like
That's right, you
about
said
maybe it's a little bit on the edge of your sight range. It looks like about 20, maybe 30 yards down. There's a sluiceway coming in from the west.
Okay. I'll make my way. So I assume I basically made my way down one side of the room.
Yes.
So I'll just make my way back up the other side of the room, making the full perimeter of the room, continuing what I was doing.
Okay. You don't find anything more of interest over here. You don't have that same sort of hazy darkness that was permeating things and causing a little bit more limitation to your sight. Things feel a little bit more normal at the moment.
Do I see any more of the shadows?
You do not.
You're being protected by a good ghost.
You do not see
Maybe.
any more of those shadows, and you make it safely back to Soria with nothing more to note. Now,
Okay.
on to Nines. Nines headed out from this area up the north exit and entrance, the north channel, I suppose I could say, after a fairly short distance, 15 yards or so. You come to a T-junction. You can continue northward down this, but there's also a junction that leads off to the west. And it seems to be slightly curving northward as you look down the sluiceway.
Slightly curving northward, you say?
Yes.
Consider my interest peaked.
All right.
Doesn't take much to pique your interest, does it?
Do you?
Let's divide the
I
party.
mean, a bright red light shining on a wall moving around could pique his interest.
Let's see, you have dark vision, so it's fine that you're wandering around without any light, right?
Yeah, it's absolutely fine. I'm doing it by myself, too.
Yeah, no problems. Must
you-
write
I
all
I mean,
the runes.
even if Nines dies, nothing of value will be lost. So
You'll just get 8s.
So Zoom slowed down right there, and it came out. Did you say you'll just get AIDS?
8.
AIDS. Oh, okay. I was like, I'm not
AIDS.
sure what he said. Was it AIDS or AIDS?
AIDS
Nine
from
ball.
me.
I thought he was
brother
saying we get
eight.
8.
It really
It's not
slowed
that kind
down
of
and
show.
created a very interesting slurred artefact of speech. So
Yeah.
do you want to continue?
Well, I just want everyone to know this show is brought to you by AT&T.
Very slowly.
Do you want to continue northward down this tunnel, or do you want to take the westward passage that does seem to eventually take a slight curve to the north itself?
Ooh, I'm going to take a look at that slight turn to the north.
Okay. So you head down the westward pathway. You are now out of sight of Ulseth, and you're just completely out of sight. So you can't see him anymore. And you want to call out? You called out with Dromar, so...
Oh, be
I
right
was,
back, Olseth.
Nines, I can no longer see you. If you need assistance and you are not killed immediately, yell out for it and I will come.
Okay.
Fingers crossed, fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
You're not killed immediately.
Well, then if he was killed immediately, I wouldn't
Be able
they
to
wouldn't
help.
be able to help. There'd be
The
no,
qualification.
Yeah.
So you continue down this.
Step 1, don't get killed immediately.
Remember
Got
that.
You continue
Yeah.
down this slightly curving pathway, and it does continue to curve ever so slightly northward. You eventually, after about 100 or so yards, come to a small room with a ladder. And, there's some water draining into this room, kind of slowly, but coming down through the pipes above. And that's all that there is in this. It's only about maybe 15 by 15, just a semicircular kind of room.
I am going to take a look at the ladder, because that's what all the cool kids are doing.
Okay. As you approach the ladder, you can choose to climb up to the top and look at the sewer grate, or look at that plaque. Either way, it will tell you that this is 75-0154.
Well, I wrote a number down, but I don't remember the one I'm looking for. I better go find Soria and see if this is the right number.
I like how Nines is talking to himself.
I feel like that
How do
really
you guys
checks
talk
out.
like this?
Do you...
Can I just do a quick perception check in the room while I'm in here?
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check. Is there anything in
And
particular
that's
you're
gonna-
looking for?
I don't know, something shiny. Red
Okay.
dot on the wall.
So just looking for anything interesting.
And that is 18 total.
You take a fairly studious glance around the room, taking a minute to, take in the environment, basically. You don't pick up anything of particular note in here. There is a pathway that continues further north and loops back eastward now, seeming to sort of mirror the way that you came in.
There's nothing interesting in this room. And certainly not the murder cult room either. But, I'm gonna get lost, so I'm gonna turn around.
Are you making your way
That's
back to the
very
group?
self-prescient.
Yes, I'm
Yeah.
gonna turn around now that I know that there's a ladder here.
Okay.
And hopefully not run into a giant rat that will try to kill me.
Or a ghost.
All right. I
Or
thought you
ghost
might
that will
have.
try to kill me.
I sort of figured that you would have gone off on a little bit of a, goose chase here.
Around.
I thought.
I'm squishy.
There are geese in the sewer?
I mean, fair enough. There could be. You don't know.
Feral geese
Yes.
with murder hornets attached to their beaks.
Watch out! They'll take your keys. You make your way.
Unless I see something on the other side from the T-junction as I'm going around the corner.
As you make your way back to that familiar T-junction, you see the same things that you had seen. You can continue by taking a left out of this T-junction and going north, or taking a right and going south back to where you last left your party.
Actually, I'm gonna go see the other side. But as I walk by the T-junction, I poke my head over to Ulseth and wave.
It is good to see you are still alive, Nines.
Yes, I did not immediately die.
Congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
At about that time, you hear Soria go, ah, and scream out. Just to give a little context, so this is all happening simultaneously. So you're gonna take a little detour north, going
Yeah.
further. Okay. You travel now out of visual sight range, but Ulseth can still hear your footfalls, since you're the one paying attention for everybody at this point. And after about 30 yards, I am gonna need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
That is a 17.
All right. There's another really slick patch of sludge here. There's a lot of runoff into this particular part of the hallway. Yet you look up and you see there's this drain that's kind of slowly leaking this super slimy water. It looks like this might be underneath a particularly pollinating tree. And it's just creating this really gross kind of slick runoff. You manage to deftly jump out of the way and take note of that slick spot being there. And you don't sprain your ankle, is basically the point.
Take a Dutch, Dromar, I say to no one.
As you make it past this,
I mean, that
little
totally
obstacle,
checks out that even when he's alone, Nines
You narrate.
take that
saying, Take that, Dromar. You are so much worse than Nines is.
Your ankle sucks.
You continue for another 20 yards or so up the hall, and you come to a T-junction. On your left again, there is a hallway that goes westward and takes a slight curve down to the south. You have a reasonable idea that this may be the sort of kind of the loop that you were on before. You can't be 100% certain without going down it, but you have a reasonable idea that that's probably where you are.
Can I just give a quick listen to see if I hear signs of rats or other living things here?
Yeah, go ahead and make a perception check.
That is a total of 16.
You hear the same familiar sounds of the sewer, the slow gurgling water. You don't hear any sort of skittering or kind of clicking kind of noises that you might hear of any living thing. Seems pretty normal where you are.
All right, I'm gonna go in the opposite direction, opposite of the where I think the loop is.
Okay, so you're going to continue
So-
northward down this tunnel? Okay.
Yeah.
You continue northward, and Ulseth, you can no longer really hear him. You've lost any sort of ability to track Nines at this point, at least by footfalls or something like that. It's all faded out of earshot. Nines, as you get up another 60, 70 yards, you come to yet one more T-junction. To your left is a hallway that goes westward and seems fairly clear. Nothing of note down that way. Continuing north, you see some sort of in the dim light. You are getting the sense that there's something on the walls and kind of ceilings. It's a little hard to make out at this distance what it is, but it seems sort of hazy.
Hazy? Why does everything look hazy over here?
You're in LA.
Oh,
You think every sewer's LA?
I mean, yeah, isn't it?
people on the West Coast right now just cursing us.
Not the whole West Coast, just LA specifically.
Just the incorporated city itself.
Yes, just the incorporated city.
Okay. We wanted to be
suburbs are
sure.
fine.
We wanted to know where the boundaries were here.
Yeah. As soon as you get out of the boundaries of LA proper, it's fine.
All right, do you have a direction you'd like to go at this point?
How far away have I gone from everyone at this point?
Very.
Quite a few hundred yards at this point. You've moved a good ways down here. You can't hear anything that's going on. You certainly haven't been able to see them for a while.
You've actually crossed into Narnia. Mr. Thomas is going to be coming up soon.
You take a longer look down the hallway ahead of you, and you see a faint light as from an odd lamppost glowing in front of you. And could that be snow? It smells so clean and fresh and looks almost as though there's a pine forest on the other side.
Betray the party for Turkish delights.
I mean, to be fair, it totally would be Nines that would do that.
I mean, are they on par with this curry that we had? Is it Turkish curry?
Ooh, who knows? You can go ahead and see what the White Witch says. So what do you want to do here?
I'll just take another quick listen and get worried that apparently now I don't hear anyone. Especially not Soria screaming in pain randomly.
Well, we don't know if I'm screaming in pain randomly.
So you want to make another perception check? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, and I got a nat 20, and that'll be a 25 total.
Okay.
Nice.
From
Get
the
that
Nobody
Omar
questions
dice.
when Nines gets a nat 20.
Because it's his first one.
It's the first one.
when you stop and kind of you close your eyes to help just tune out things that aren't helping you right now and focus on the senses that are. You smell this sort of odd staleness. How best to describe it? It's a little bit like a book that's been closed too long and stored in a place that's just a little damp. It's not a pleasant odor, and it's not something that you've experienced down here. Coming from further northward up this tunnel, and you hear this sort of light clattering, this little on the surfaces down that way. You don't get a clear idea of what that might be, but you hear it. It's very faint. Down the westward tunnel, you hear the same sorts of sounds you've become accustomed to, and there seems to be a bit of kind of quickly moving water down that way.
I am just going to turn around and start going back the way I came, because I don't want to run into something that will kill me.
Seems reasonable.
And
I love that Nines is just noping out of stuff today. It's just
When you get back, Soria has blood running down her eyes, and it is like, give me your blood.
Seth is starting to get really nervous right now and decides that there's only a 61% chance that Nines is still alive.
Those are good odds.
there's a 39% chance I just got killed immediately, so I couldn't scream for help.
Yes.
all right.
Or you were so far away that we couldn't hear you.
We're gonna jump back to Soria,
Oh, yeah.
and
Nines makes bad decisions that could get him killed, but like if he knows there's danger, he's got a pretty good sense of self-preservation.
are you attempting a third rune?
I'm gonna try the one I failed on.
Oh, you're gonna try that one again?
Oh, well, now I'm gonna try the third one.
I'm just surprised. I'm not trying to hit anything. I'm just surprised that you're trying that one a second time.
I
mean,
the full
usually,
set.
like, screaming out in pain makes people stop trying to do a thing, but okay, go ahead.
I've never experienced something that hurts to read. It's really interesting.
It's okay, we're getting some
never read
insight
Twilight,
into
then.
Soria's character here.
I'm also curious. I'm gonna check this when we're out of the sewer, but I'm curious if reading the runes that I wrote down in the journal hurts. But
I wouldn't be surprised if it does.
all right, so is it a wisdom save?
Yeah, it's a wisdom save. Go ahead.
20. Math. 24.
You managed to copy this down and complete your drawing. However, you still take 2 points of psychic damage doing so. It was quite painful to finish copying that rune down. It is now accurately copied, though.
Gotta try another one.
Okay.
Spin the wheel.
Go ahead and make
Big
another
money.
saving throw.
No whammies.
12.
As you begin to sketch, what are you like drawing these out with? What are you sketching these out with?
I believe I have like a charcoal pencil sort of thing.
Okay. As you're looking at this, kind of bracing yourself a bit, you are sketching this down, and your hand just shakes wildly, and you lose control, and you just crush your implement, and just like seize on it, and it's shattered into many little pieces at the moment, and you take 3 psychic damage.
Right, stop.
Keep
should
going,
have Dromar drop
going,
rest.
keep going.
You've taken, is it 6 now? Is it 6 damage? 6
Yeah, but I healed a little.
And that's a fair bit of damage for level 1.
You think I should keep going? You think I should keep
I mean,
going?
it's up to you.
Do it. Yeah.
Also, it's
Yes.
watching, right?
Yeah,
I'm watching.
I'm enjoying this. This is a DM's dream. I don't have to do anything. The players are volunteering to take themselves out.
I think most of the
Fantastic.
damage to this dungeon has been self-inflicted.
I believe
Almost
that's-
all of it.
All right, I'll try one more time.
Okay, go ahead.
How many circles are there?
There are 5, aren't there?
Yeah, there are 5. There are 5 runes in a circle.
And you've completed 2?
2.
I got an 18.
You get about half of the rune sort of roughly sketched with the remaining little shards of writing, but you just can't bring yourself to finish, and you take 1 more psychic damage.
Dory, are you all right?
And as you try to just like keep looking, you find that you are now involuntarily, the moment you try to look at him, you're just snapping your neck away. You now have sort of lost the ability to hold your head and eyes looking at these things, and you're being forced away and cannot physically look at them.
I've hit the diminishing returns point.
Zoria, are you all right? Do you need assistance?
I'm okay.
Does Dromar come back around now, or?
Yeah, you all are kind of meeting back up. Nines is still a little bit of a ways off. I need everyone who is not Nines to make a wisdom saving throw. Well, sorry, you can make it with advantage on this one.
Thank you.
15.
30, 20.
14.
Ulseth, you take 3 psychic damage as the runes become unstable and start flickering and flashing, and then send out a shockwave of energy as they almost explode with this power. And Soria and Dromar, you're like kind of like steel yourselves against it, but it catches you so off guard, Ulseth, that you don't have time. You're preoccupied, worried about Nines down there. So you took that damage. And the runes are now gone, and some of this dark, suppressing aura in the room has now faded a bit.
Looking around again, has anything changed in the rest of the room? Do I see the shadows? Has the light changed at all?
For you, it looks the same as I had previously described it. For Soria and Ulseth, as they return from this shock of damage for Ulseth and this now physical reflex of pain looking away from these things, the room now appears just ever so slightly brighter and a little less ominous. It's almost as though a presence has left the room.
Do I notice any changes in my journal where I've been drawing?
Make an investigation check.
Guidance. That's why investigation is not 3. 12.
You think that everything that you wrote in your journal is as you wrote it down.
Soria, Ulseth, I found a ladder. It's not the one we need, but it's 10 closer.
Nines, you come
then
back into the room about
The last
now.
one. Oh, hi, Nines. You're not
There's
dead.
got brighter in here?
blood draining out of all my orifices right now.
You have some blood coming out of your tear ducts, and a little bit dripping out of your ear. on the little dot of your nose.
I noticed that Zoria is really not doing very well.
I'm fine. Embrace the darkness.
I have a healing. I
Have
offer.
you done something with your hair?
Do you want me to do something with my hair?
Hey, what happened to the guy that was in the room with you earlier?
What guy?
Did you see the shadows 2 nines?
Well, just the one.
I
A
did.
deception check, by the way.
Yeah, I'll do. I'll do an insight check.
At this point, sorry, I believe so.
Okay.
I got a 21 on insight.
I only got a 13 on deception.
Okay, so Dromar, although you think that Nines might be talking about something else, you don't think that you don't think he's talking about the same things that you saw, but you don't totally disbelieve the idea that he saw something because you were seeing things. But you're like, I don't think he's talking about the same things that I saw.
Is the room brighter for Nines like it is for the rest of us, or does he still see it like it was before?
It is now also brighter for Nines.
Okay.
There's sort of a presence, like I said, that feels like it's been lifted from this. That's no longer here.
I was while I was making my way around, I noticed there were like these shadows that were like alive. I didn't see any people or even any creatures or anything, but I saw these shadows. They were moving in different directions. But then when I got to the ladder and I was looking at the number, and by the way, half of the ladder was missing, only the top half was there. But I got this bright flash in my head, and then the room was brighter, and the shadows were all gone. I don't know what that was all about. Have any of you ever seen anything or heard of anything like that?
Would I, with my...
No. Nothing that you'd ever seen, Soria. I mean, I can just answer for all of you. None of you have anything in your pasts that you've seen that compare to this.
No, Dromar. I was standing here trying to watch you and Zoria and did not see anything like shadows. No.
It was very strange. But what did you find, Nines?
I found a ladder. It's like 75-0154. I don't remember which one we're looking for.
We're looking for 8-4.
Well, then it's not a different direction.
Yes.
Yeah, I think.
Is that the only other entrance except for the barred one that I found?
Yeah, the way that you came into this room, the way that Nines ventured out, and then the barred passageway that you found are the only 3 ways in or out of this room.
So I did find on the opposite end of this room a barred exit.
Oh, that's so
Maybe
nice.
I can use it.
What?
I do because it's a bard.
For bards only.
Oh,
Yeah, it's for bards.
I
Yeah,
know.
you should go through it.
I do have a
good.
question. Based on the rat that I saw and my knowledge of how much rats can squeeze through things, could these rats get through the bars?
You can't be certain if all of them could, but that very large one, you suspect would have a chance. The bars are of a distance that a typical humanoid would have a very difficult time squeezing through. But you all have seen mice and rats and all sorts of rodentia squeeze into just inexplicably small spaces. So you have a feeling that they could probably move freely through here, even if you don't have solid evidence to say that they can. Just instinct is telling you, yeah, they probably can.
and the bars I saw, this was the same as like the rest of the grading that we'd seen, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Yeah.
It basically, unless I describe any particularly different feature, if I say it's kind of barred off, it's just like the ones that you've been running to the whole time.
That's what I figured.
So we should.
I guess we I think we need to go the direction of the barred entrance, but obviously we can't go that way. So I guess we go the way Nines went and see what we can find from there. What do you all think?
I think so. I mean, I don't think we have another way from what I can see.
I would like to examine the bars to see if perhaps these were weakened or if they could be moved. We cannot assume that all barred entrances are accessible only to musicians, but that some may allow others to pass as well.
All right, well, we can give it a try if you want to, Olseth.
Yes. But before we go, Zoria, I have for you here a healing potion.
Oh.
Would you wish to take it? I have been carrying one with me.
Maybe. That's the thing. I was like nodding.
I have noticed.
I'm just like,
I have noticed
okay,
that
we
I have
have
noticed
the
that you are
point.
injured and blood is coming from places it should not.
Where should blood be coming from, Ulseth?
It's the first potion of the campaign. It's one of those moments. It's like, this was a rough moment.
Well, pre-stream
No,
we did use a potion, but not on any of us.
That
We used
is-
it to save Corwin.
That is correct.
Yeah, maybe I should actually. Since we're
What are you at?
probably 3,
Out of
10.
Oh, I can just use magic to heal you.
Oh. Okay.
I just cast Cure Wounds, otherwise I'm not going to use that spell slot.
Or we could take a bunch of time, go back to Mariel, see if she can heal me, and then backtrack.
Execute! You recover 12 HP, actually.
Nines shouts execute as he heals you.
I'm gonna use one of my good berries.
So I recover more than I have my max HP. Wow.
Yeah, and I
The-
used one of my good berries to.
Yeah, you should
fully
bank
heal.
that extra HP then.
I'll
works
just
that way,
save
right?
it for later. I'll put it in my
I
pocket.
have no good berries left. So
The restorative
I'll just
effects of
stay as I am.
Nine's spell will leave you feeling a fair bit better, but you are still a bit mentally shaken from your encounter with that dark magic.
I think I've started to translate these runes. They say, have a pretzel. Say.
No, you're lying. Are you saying the pretzel vendors behind this whole thing?
Who else
The
would
pretzel
have a murder
vendors are
cult?
the Thieves Guild!
No, they're the pretzel guild.
Anyway, Ulseth goes
They're
over
even
to.
worse than the lollipop guild.
Ulseth will wander over to where the bars apparently are, and does as thorough an examination as possible to see if there's any weaknesses. Just physically tries to turn them and twist them and looks to where they're attached on the top and the bottom. Pulls out his crowbar, gives him a little bit of,
All right.
And this is the tactical crowbar.
this is the,
That's slightly rusty.
slightly rusty.
Slightly.
Slightly rusty raven bar, as I like to call it. And
Yes,
you don't find any weaknesses.
I find none.
I try to use it as
you
an
don't
exit.
find any. I mean, you have examined these bars multiple times throughout the sewer at various different places. You have yet to find any weaknesses. You do, however, at this point, notice a little something interesting. Not about this one, but about all the bars as you are reflecting on them. A bit
They're that shiny
frustration.
that I reflect.
A bit of frustration overcomes you, and you start thinking about why the hell are all these bars in here? And you realize that compared to the rest of the sewers where these have been installed, the concrete around them looks a little bit fresher.
These specific ones.
All of the bars
them.
thus far, since you've spent quite a bit of time trying to break, mangle, dash, bend, and otherwise twist your way through them, Ulseth has now noticed that actually they all seem to be set into slightly newer concrete. It's a little brighter, a little cleaner, and is cut separately from the rest of the concrete. It's like its own little strip.
Well, I can tell you this bar is quite shiny, and I was able to reflect myself.
Oh, that's wonderful, Olsa.
I was very
It's a shame
surprised.
you're not telling us about the useful information that the DM passed on to you.
Well, I wanted to pass on that which was most startling, but Unfortunately, I am not able to move these bars any more than I could move any of the other bars. However, I did notice, and recalling my experience with the others, that they have been more recently installed. The concrete or cement into which they are placed is much newer, less scummy, less covered in things than the rest of the sewers. So they are a more recent installation.
So you're saying that maybe someone's trying to keep people from getting to where we're trying to get, or to someplace, and it wasn't just that some kind of psychopath designed this sewer to be a terrible maze.
It's almost as if someone's railroading us in a certain direction.
It is quite possible that a psychopath had done this. However, it was done more recently nonetheless.
Dromar is going to examine these bars, and knowing that the bars where the ooze was were coated in something, he's thinking maybe that's to prevent the acid damage from the oozes, and he's going to look at the bars. Does he think that the metal would be susceptible to acid?
The metal looks much like the metals in the crowbars that you guys have used multiple times now. They're all utility steel. They're tough. Although they're not identical, because there's many different types of forging and ways to make steel and types of steel. But you get the sense they, too, would be susceptible to some sort of corrosion or acidic effects if they were so exposed. The exception, of course, being the magical ones that you had encountered earlier in these sewers.
How much acid does Dromar think it would take to eat away enough of a section of bars that we could open up a hole to and then bend it and get through?
You get the sense that it would be a fair bit of long-term exposure to acid. By long-term, I mean several hours of exposure at least to consistent bits of acid. Because you pour acid on something and it reacts and it causes that, but unless you had a very corrosive material, it's not just going to burn right through. You have studied some acids, and you know that to pull off a stunt like that, it is certainly possible. You need something incredibly potent, and usually a bit of time for it to work.
Okay. So my 2 pounds of acid that I have on me probably wouldn't work.
I mean, 2 pounds of acid is a fair bit of acid. That's nothing to sneeze
It would
at.
probably take a while.
But it would probably take a while. The type of acid that you have is, potent and would hurt. I mean, it's meant to scald human skin and other, biological materials, which doesn't need to be that acidic. To eat away at something that's meant to stand up to sewer drainage and the already filthy, corrosive slurry that forms with all of these biological materials, you get the sense that your acid might not necessarily cut it quickly enough. If you had several days, you think you could probably work on it, but
Maybe we should head north.
Yeah, I agree. Sorry, I don't think we're gonna get through these bars, unfortunately. Shall I lead the way?
Yep, the Dark Lord wills it.
Execute.
Yes, let's let the person
What?
who hasn't gone there lead the way. Okay.
Yeah.
so you head up
You
the
can lead
northern
the way
passageway
if you
now.
want to, Nine.
Nines,
No, you're fine.
Why don't you
I
narrate?
know I'm fine, but do you want to lead the way?
No, you can lead it. This is
Nines.
pretty straightforward.
While he's
Yes?
leading, why don't you narrate your adventures through this area?
Why don't you sing us about your adventures?
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of bard.
Oh.
What kind of bard are you?
A stringy kind.
Oh.
That's why you need to be evil.
Execute.
All right.
That is perhaps why nothing has eaten you so far.
Yeah, Yes, that's why.
So Dromar will lead the way down the northern hallway.
Okay. You continue down the path until you reach a T-junction. That's about, 15 yards or so down the path.
I would like to note, by the way, I love how even though Dromar specifically asked him what he saw, Nines hasn't said a word about the scurrying things that he heard in these halls. Yeah.
I said there was a ladder. Your guy's looking for the ladder.
Yeah, no, it's fine. Yeah, I'm just,
Nines is such a shithead. I love him. So you come to T-junction, not too very far down this hallway. Yeah, the junction, which Nines is familiar with, leads westward and banks ever so slightly northward along that passageway, and you can continue down this hallway northward still.
Which way should we go, Nines?
Which way had the ladder?
The western pathway that banks slightly north had the ladder.
So the western one had that ladder. That's not the one we're looking for. Let's go the other direction.
which way is the other direction?
North.
Northward, further down the tunnel still.
All right.
I will head north.
Okay.
I haven't said anything about what's up ahead, too.
I know you haven't. I've been tracking whether or not you will say anything about it.
There's like that slippery spot.
Yes, there is. There's a... And I
Nines is a
am...
bastard.
Dromar, since you do have kind of an idea of what to look for, why don't you make a perception check, and let's see if you happen to notice this inevitable slick that we all know is coming. See if Dromar happens to see it.
15.
You do happen to notice that there is a particularly slick spot up ahead. Having seen things like this before, you know what to look for.
Oh, there's a slippery spot here. Watch out for it as you go by.
And I will.
Oh, wow, I haven't
step
noticed
over
that.
Okay.
Insight check. That's terrible. 6.
I mean,
My
Nines.
deception says 13.
So
13.
You believe that Nines is telling the truth and didn't see this the first time that he went down this way, and just happened to manage to step around it.
Well, it's a good thing I noticed it this time. Someone could have gotten hurt.
Yeah, if Zoria got hurt, that'd be terrible.
Thank you.
Or if any of us got hurt.
Yeah, Zoria got hurt.
Another 20 yards or so, and you come to another T-junction. This time the path continues on north, and then it you can make a left and go westward, and that path has a slight southern bend to its path.
I say we go down the western one.
Yeah.
I went to north before, correct?
You went north before, having a reasonable conclusion from your experience that that path may very well lead back to the ladder that you had already been to.
Did you go down one of these Nines?
Yeah, just don't go to the north one. You don't want to go back to the ladder. That's probably where it is.
Oh, okay.
I'll go down the western one then.
The western one goes back to the ladder, I think.
No, the northern one. Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, what Nine's meant to say is that the western one leads to the room, the northern
I
one
didn't
leads
have a
further into
magic
the
compass
sewers.
with me when I went down there.
Okay.
Nice. Have you
So
been
I'll
through
go
here
to
before
the
or not?
northern one.
Okay. You continue further down the northern path, another 60 or so yards down this path, and you come to yet one more T-junction. You can still continue northward, and down that path, you see that there's this sort of odd, filmy haze sort of
Can I?
element over the walls ahead, and also continue westward, taking a left from where you are.
Can I identify what that filmy haze might be?
Roll a nature check.
Yeah, I do.
You don't see anything of interest down the western tunnel.
Nines, did you go down either of these or did you stop before this?
Oh, I
26.
stopped. I mean, I heard some weird clicky noise. I didn't want to find out what that was.
Weird clicking noise.
You have reasonable suspicion that what you're looking at is probably some sort of spider web or silk.
That's probably spider webs or silk.
Oh, I probably got a spider then.
Yeah, that clicking noise that you probably should have mentioned to us when I specifically asked you what you found up here was probably spiders, yeah.
I'm guessing
asshole.
that's the bugs that Muriel talked about.
Well, should we go the other way then?
Yeah, let's try west. I don't know if we want to fight spiders.
Yeah, the less fighting, the better.
I'll lead the way west.
The less being eaten by spiders,
Okay.
the better.
And I'm gonna try to be stealthy. I'm gonna,
Oh.
yeah.
Let's
together.
try to be quiet to avoid the spiders.
Okay.
Are we all trying to be quiet?
Are you all trying to be stealthy?
Oh, yes.
Yes.
I got an 18.
Okay. Nines, what do you have?
I got a 17.
Ulseth?
12.
18.
That's all right. Okay. You
Oh, wait a second. No, that's a 6. 18.
Oh, three
nice.
18s.
so
3
you
18s and a 17. Not bad at all.
you all managed to move down the hallway, remaining fairly quiet, believing yourselves to be moving, perhaps for the first time as a group, quite stealthily together.
I've never been this quiet together.
We've never moved as a group together.
You continue down the hall, and this one goes for about 200 yards or so. When you come to a Y junction, and it branches
Why?
off in a northwestern direction and a southwestern direction. Down
I
the
think
northwestern passageway, you hear a little bit of noise, some like scuffing down that passageway. Like you hear almost like someone sort of shuffling footsteps or something like that. A little vague at the moment.
We all
You're not
hear
sure
this.
what it is, but you do hear something. Down the southwestern, you don't hear anything or see anything of note.
I'm gonna whisper to the group. Do you all hear that shuffling noise?
I do.
Maybe, I wonder if there's people there. Maybe I should sneak ahead and see what I can see in the dark, and I'll leave my lantern here, and then I'll come back and report. But I don't want us to go into like what could be a big ambush or something.
That would
What do
be
you think?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that
I'd
would be
rather-
good.
And if we go southwest, I'd rather know what was behind us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll take my lantern off.
I'll give my lantern to well, you don't have dark vision, Will Seth. Why don't you take it?
All right, I will hold your lantern.
Thank you.
I am being quite quiet.
It's hard to whisper on an audio thing.
I am being quiet.
It's very, I
I
whisper.
am whispering.
I am whispering. Are you whispering too, Jomar?
Just
I
saying,
am whispering.
If you just say I am whispering before
Whisper,
you say
whisper,
something,
whisper.
doesn't actually work.
Yes, it does.
Code.
Have to do it like this.
Code. I think it's dangerous.
It's hard to do
up
a
ahead.
whispering voice while also doing the Dromar voice, I have to say.
Yeah.
I'm going to, once I hand my lantern to Ulseth.
Which I very
quietly
take from him.
Yes, thank you. I'm going to stealthily make my way down this hallway, slowly trying to make my way toward the shuffling noise, staying in the shadows as much as possible.
Okay, and you were going by yourself. I just want to be sure for like checks and
As
everything.
far as I know, I am going by myself.
Okay,
Yes, find victims for the dark one.
so go ahead and make a stealth check.
Figure possessed.
That is a 27.
Moving with your usual deftness, you make hardly any noise. and leave hardly any trace that you've even set foot down this hallway.
As it should be.
Your movements go, as far as you can tell, undetected, and you continue further down. This is quite a long stretch. It's maybe 200 yards or so down this way. You've completely lost sight of the group. The smell now has changed into one of a bit of fire. It smells like someone has a low bonfire or a stove, perhaps, up ahead. And you get a little whiff of smoke, some wood burning. You don't hear any crackling or feel any heat or anything, so you don't have any reason to believe right now that something is on and fire in an uncontrollable way. You get closer and closer, and there's just as you near the end of this tunnel, you start seeing some lights, and they're a little bit muted, and it's casting sort of a red glow, and you soon see why, because the light is emanating through a thin... Oh, it's the cat playing with a toy. Sorry. There is a cat out of sight playing with a little rabbit toy.
Trying to...
All hail the Dark Lord, the Tabaxi God.
I think it is the evil Tabaxi God.
It is the evil Tabaxi God. The light is being filtered through a thin red cloth that is draped over the whole of this entrance, covering everything.
Romantic.
It doesn't look romantic at all. This looks very tattered and crappy. There's little holes torn in it, and it's rather threadbare in many spots.
So this is between me and the room.
Yes, there's sort of this cloth veil, door, if you will, that's covering up the entrance of this room from the sluiceway.
Since it's tattered, can I kind of peer through one of the tears or holes or something?
You can certainly make an attempt. Why don't you roll a perception check?
Perception. Ooh, nat 20 plus 5. 25.
So, remember everyone, if you want to piss off your DMs and make the rest of the group suspicious of you, buy your loaded dice through Geekified. You do manage to get a pretty good spot to look into the room. There's this hole that's large enough to get a couple angles on, switching your eyes and getting different viewpoints. On the inside, you see what looks almost like a clubhouse. There's rough structures. There's a sluiceway that runs through the center of this room and down here, just like everywhere else. But on the platforms, there's sort of roughly built wooden structures, almost like little houses, little really rough houses. And there is, as you had smelled, fire burning in a barrel, a steel barrel that had been made. And it's, fairly low, but smoking. And you don't see anybody, but you do see a large sign that's up on the wall, painted across a whole bunch of roughly strapped together pieces of wood to make it large enough for the effect that the creator wanted. On it is painted Thieves Guild, spelled TheeVesGuilde.
Dromar will not say anything out loud, but in his head he's like,
motherfucker, there's no fucking Thieves Guild. These idiots, they didn't even spell it right.
They didn't spell this thing that doesn't exist right.
Dromar knows exactly how you spell Thieves Guild because he's the Grandmaster.
Yeah. If anyone would know how to spell it, Dromar would know.
It's right on the card too.
Do I hear any movement? Do I hear this scuffing noise that you mentioned earlier?
You hear just the faintest sounds of movement, and then this is something that actually does echo all the way back down to the group, you hear a heavy piece of metal dropping into something. And you all have a little bit of a flashback to when they closed the sewer behind you, when you went down in there and dropped that heavy cover over the entrance. And it sounds very similar to that. It's a heavy piece of metal landing on top of entryway, and then you don't hear any movements about.
Does it get darker when that happens?
No, it doesn't really get darker.
They left an unattended fire.
Yeah, always smart to do that. Do I see a ladder?
You get this. You don't see it directly. There's a couple things that are kind of blocking your view of seeing all the walls and everything in this room. But I mean, you get the sense that there very well could be a ladder in this room. It looks like a couple other entry areas that you have seen in the past. Actually, it looks a little similar in its layout and everything to Muriel's room.
I'm gonna listen for another moment. Do I hear any more noise? Either in the sewer or possibly above.
Make a perception check.
16.
You listen for a few moments. Hear the low crackle of the fire. You don't hear any more movement.
Okay. I'm gonna make my way back to the group. Still being quiet just in case.
Make a stealth
should I
check.
make another stealth check?
Yep.
That's a 16.
In your frustration from finding the Thieves Guild, you're not quite as quiet as you were on the way in, letting the anger get the better of you for a moment, but you still move reasonably quietly.
Once I make it back to the group, I will quietly say to them,
I found a room up there. I couldn't see everything because there was a tattered red cloth in the way.
and I'm whispering this.
I'll get, unless you guys for the moment say that you are stopping whispering, I'll just let you have the cover of whisper here.
Thank you.
And I didn't see anybody, but it sounded like somebody climbed out of the sewer, and I heard what sounded like a sewer grate drop back down. There's a fire in there. There's a very terrible sign that says Thieves Guild, but it's not even spelled correctly.
Of course they wouldn't spell it correctly.
There's no Thieves Guild.
But the sign says there
Thieves
is a
Guild. There's a
Thieves
sign
Guild.
that says Thieves Guild.
So I think
We have found the Thieves Guild.
I don't think there's anybody in there, in that room.
Well, the
but
Thieves Guild is in there.
No, I think the quote-unquote Thieves Guild, the people pretending to be the Thieves Guild, are probably above there. I think this is the ladder we want. But I think
That's the one used by the Thieves Guild.
I'm gonna like turn away from Nines and just talk to Soria and Elsa.
So, anyway, I think the three of us should go over to that room quietly, just in case there is anybody in there. Make sure it's the right ladder, and then prepare ourselves to go up and probably get in a fight.
Okay, sounds good.
should find my
Is
own
there
group.
an induction ritual or anything that we have to go through?
No, there's
Initiation?
no Thieves Guild.
Okay.
We just need to go and murder all the people that pretend to be the Thieves Guild.
Not
And then there
lethally,
definitely
right?
won't be a Thieves Guild. And then we can turn in that head and collect the bounty. And
All right. Should we sneak down?
Wow.
yeah, we should
We just
sneak
need to
down.
murder everyone.
I'm all in for murdering everyone. For some reason, it feels
so much
great.
character development just happened really suddenly.
I'm just kidding.
Drumar, you seem to be very angry about a Thieves Guild. I mean, you have become a murder
Guild.
What?
A murder guild.
Go on.
The leader
I mean,
of a
I
murder
murdered
guild.
people before.
It's called the Assassin's Guild.
Yeah, I mean, I mostly
The
steal,
murder
but
guild's the off-brand.
I have
Store
killed
brand
people.
Assassin's Guild.
It's full of crows.
You've actually all seen me kill people before. It's not like I've never done that.
All right, so we should sneak down.
Yeah, let's be as sneaky as we can.
Guidance.
I'll lead the way.
Okay, I'll be
Everyone make a stealth check.
14.
Okay.
dirty 20.
Dirty 20, 18 from Nines. Drillard?
14 for me.
Oh,
Okay. Yeah, moving as a group, oddly, Nines and Ulseth are sort of like telling you guys, shh, like helping you guys quiet down.
Having a pretzel day.
Dromar's very upset about all
Those
this.
of us who had
Dromar's letting
pretzels
his
are
emotions
doing
get the
really
better of
well.
him right now. But you do make it down the passageway back to the cloth-covered sewer.
Sorry, look,
Dromar's
this is the
going
Thieves
to
Guild.
It's just like I
take a
imagined.
moment
It
and
is.
listen. Shh, he's gonna motion for everybody to be quiet, and then like put his ear up and put his eye up to one of the holes and like listen and watch and see if he notices anything.
I would
Go
also
ahead.
like to.
Okay, so you want to be doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a perception check, both of you.
Kind of.
23.
What? 20. Sorry, math.
Numbers.
I'm bad
I
at
guess guidance on yourself.
I'm bad with sevens for some reason. I don't know why. 24.
They're the doors
26.
of math.
Okay. So, with you guys both peering through, Dromar, you see roughly the same sights that you had already seen. Soria now seeing this sort of odd space for the first time. You see the rough wooden structures that make some sort of like homes, little hovels almost. You might describe it as small bungalows, maybe. And it's clearly kind of a living space. You see the poorly spelled Thieves Guild sign up there.
Oh, the thieves must be goblin.
And
What?
Why? Because they're so stupid?
This is racism.
and
How
you
dare you? I'm
That-
the
that is what you
smartest
see.
person
You
in this
don't-
party.
you don't hear anything. Yeah, other than the slow crackle of the fire and the usual sounds of the sewer in the background.
Dromar will slowly pull aside the curtain and walk through to the other side.
Okay. You now enter the space that you've been sort of looking at, and within the space, it's you got a pretty good sense of what it was like. These odd sort of bungalow, rough constructions here in the sewers. There's now that you can kind of, I'm guessing you're gonna kind of move around and inspect the room a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, assuming I look around and don't see anybody, I'll
don't.
open it for everyone else to come through, and then we can start walking around.
All right.
I
I'll
will
go.
look at the ladder.
And I would like to fix the spelling on the sign.
Okay.
Don't change the sign, Soria. They'll know we're here.
But it's so bad.
I know, it bothers me too, but don't do it. We need to be as discreet as possible.
You get
should
in the
fix
room.
it.
I think you should. Nines, you have fixed signs before.
No, nobody should fix the sign. We're
I gotta
trying
fix the
to
sign.
not leave a trace.
Nines. What do you want to use to fix the sign?
I have ink.
How high up is the sign?
It's about 10 feet up.
So he can't.
Olsef, come here.
Oh no.
Let me stand on your shoulders.
Wait. This is a thieves
do it.
guild. It's full of treasure. We should find treasure, right?
We should look around and see if there is anything. We
Yes, I
should
will
also.
help. I will help Nines fix the sign.
No, don't do that. Seriously. I'm the smartest person here. You all need to listen to me. We need to not make it obvious that we were here.
He is
You're
the
gonna
expert
kill them all
on
anyway.
the
What's
thieves
the
guild.
difference?
But
should
until
listen.
they're so okay, here's my deal I'll make for you. Once they're all dead or captured, then you can change it. How about that?
That sounds
There's no
fair.
Thieves Guild. What's the point of fixing a sign if there's
Dromar,
no
are you
Thieves
saying
Guild?
that they have spelled Thieves Guild correctly
No.
and should not be fixed?
No.
No, it's clearly wrong.
Sure. Whatever
Nice.
makes it so you don't do anything to this stupid sign.
I go over to the ladder and look for the number.
I hadn't actually said there's a ladder in the room. I said there was likely a ladder in the room, but I hadn't said there was one.
Well, I go
Look for a ladder.
I go looking for a ladder.
Make an investigation check.
I can do
Yeah,
that.
I'm gonna investigate also, but right now I'm gonna be investigating
19.
around the room for number one, any traps, but also anything of value
And I give you guidance.
19.
or interest.
Okay. First thing that we'll resolve will be
Oh
Ulseth.
god.
It takes you a minute to actually find the ladder that you suspect was in the room. They had sort of disguised it. It actually made this kind of wrap around the ladder that created this chute that surrounded it. A little bit,
This is both a chute and a ladder.
it's a little bit.
The best of both worlds.
I mean, it totally seems superfluous. There's nothing really that this gains. It does, however, as you kind of get inside this a little bit, and you have to duck down underneath the level that they cut this chute off at. You kind of get up in it for a second. You're like, oh, this is actually kind of fun. This is kind of neat. Like, I'm wrapped around this, and to describe it to everyone in a real world sense, it's a little bit like one of those play place, like ball pit kind of tunnels is how it feels. It's very close, and it's just cloth, so it's a little odd. And you've never quite seen something like this, but you feel a little happier inside.
You're closer to a pretzel day.
You find
I take out a piece of my pretzel and eat it.
okay.
Make a constitution.
You do that. It's certainly cold and a little stale at this point.
But it's still
Probably
a
kind of
pretzel.
damp.
Yeah, it's a little damp, but honestly, for like a soft pretzel, unless you leave it fully out in the air, somehow they always manage to get a little damp if they're just sitting there, you know?
And this one probably has some shit on it.
I mean,
And is haunted.
that pretzel,
There's actually a demon living inside this
that pretzel saw some
inside of
things
it.
in the cult room. You find the number. It is 75-0211.
It's the wrong way.
You don't know that yet. I tell you the number, and we are all very disappointed.
I think we should still see what's up there, though, once we look around this room.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of which,
What was the result on your investigation check?
And I gave you guidance.
Yes, I rolled a natural 1 plus 1 for guidance plus 6. So 8.
At this point, Dromar, you're honestly not really investigating things. The anger about this thieves guild has overtaken you. You're not really looking for things. You're kind of wandering around,
Kicking it.
kicking things. Like you kind of like
How
shove
many
some
traps do I
chairs
set
over.
off?
You don't find any traps, nor do you set off any traps.
Well, that's good at least.
But you do sort of,
I
fuck
get
the
murdered
place
by
up a
a
little
giant
bit.
rat trap.
So do I see Dromar is clearly just like not having this and not really
You
investigating?
know when people are just kind of angry and they stumble around just like muttering under their breath? That's what he's doing right now.
Can
That
I-
and occasionally kicking something.
Also, in a very condescending way, says, Dromar, you told us that we should not leave any traces of our presence, and look at what you are doing.
yes, I'm sorry, it's accidental.
I'm so focused on that sign, by the way.
You
I
may.
go back to
Guidance.
Since everyone was distracted, I am on all fours staring at the
23.
sign as it waves slightly in the breeze, because that's how I want to picture it.
The breeze in the sewer.
And I want to use feline agility to see if I can jump up and grab it from where it is.
Okay.
Do you have a 10-foot vertical leap?
It does. Feline agility doubles my speed until the end of my turn.
So, to So you're just trying to like are you trying to get up and like grab onto the sign?
Yes.
Okay. Make
I assume it's not, since it's spelled horribly, it's not attached very well either.
Probably not. We'll find out though. So you're trying to make kind of a running start and then like Matrix run up the wall, jump on it is what you're trying to
No, I'm
accomplish.
from a sitting position. I am
from
going
a
to jump straight up and
sitting in
jump.
position.
That's why I
trying to-
asked if he had a 10-foot vertical leap.
Yeah, so I was looking. A high jump is 3 feet plus your strength modifier.
Yeah, we're gonna make an athletics check here. If you're doing the wall route, I was gonna let you use acrobatics, but we will do this the way that you described. You're sitting there and you jump up, trying to use feline agility to the best of your abilities. And you may roll a high jump.
Like a strength check.
As a strength check with advantage. We'll say that's how the feline agility here is coming into effect. You get advantage on this roll. It's a strength check.
That is going to be a total of 13.
You make a pretty good leap. You get you get about 2 feet of like actual vertical height. And if you're stretching out, so I'm guessing you're kind of stretching your arms out, trying to get your claws in the sign. That's kind of like what I'm imagining here.
Yeah, like the goal is to get over and pull it down, but I'll
Okay.
extend my claws.
So you jump up and you do manage to sink your claws about halfway up on the sign. You get them in. You get just enough height to kind of get your claws on your front hands in. So now you are hanging off the sign, just kind of dangling there, like a cat that's trying to get up on a couch and it misjudged the height of the jump.
Hang in there, kitty.
That's you are an inspirational poster at the moment.
I'm going to go up and stab Nines in the butt non-lethally.
Did I find anything?
We will resolve that after this catastrophe has concluded.
17.
Catastrophe. Excuse me. Nines, what's your AC?
It's 13, but I feel like I'm too tall for him to hit me properly.
Yeah,
I mean, you're hanging down from this thing.
I am flailing.
so Dromar, you managed to kind of jump up because Nines raises a pretty good point about just distance here and like the physics of height and everything. But you do manage to get a pretty good jump in, and with the flat side of your sword, you smack him on the ass. And
Oh no, I'm stabbing him in the butt. I just don't want to do it deep. Because I've always told Nine I'm going to stab him in the butt.
You know.
okay. So you lunge and you get a it's not very deep, it's a little poke. Since
Mission
you're
accomplished.
Since you're attempting non-lethal damage,
End of campaign.
roll 1d4. We'll say.
Sounds
No, that's not
good.
the damage category for that weapon, but we'll say under these circumstances, a little smaller.
2.
Nines, you take 2 piercing damage in your butt.
I yelp with my mouth.
Your pants have once again seen better days.
So as this is carrying on,
I
sorry,
make a very loud yelp.
in the
Well.
corner, you find
Very loud.
you find a chest labeled the
Chest.
Horde. HOORD.
The Horde.
And I see Dromar is like super busy.
Yep.
I fixed
The
it.
other 3 are completely distracted. So you correct the spelling on the sign,
Yeah.
crossing out an R, adding an A.
Yeah.
Okay. It now says the Horde, properly so. And it's a small little chest.
I like to check for traps.
Yeah, I'll say that your investigation check.
Okay.
You didn't find anything that you would recognize as a trap.
Okay, then I'll open it if it's not locked.
It is locked. It seems to be a very loose lock. You can actually move the lid around.
Well, I have a crowbar, but I feel like if I had a thieves tool kit, I would try, but... Dromar,
Yes, Soria.
I found treasure.
Oh, wonderful. The day's looking up.
It's gonna be a pretzel day after.
I will walk over and try to open the lock with my lockpicking kit.
And while Dromar is doing that,
Man.
Ulseth
Guidance.
finishes his bit of pretzel and turns around and sees Nines dangling,
Bleeding.
bleeding a
From the
little
butt.
bit,
Bleeding from my butt.
saying, Nines, do you require assistance?
So
Yes.
I got 3 on the die for a 10 altogether.
The lock is childishly simple, and it's actually just a secret. Yeah, you know how on like the hood of a lot of cars these days, you kind of slide your hand in and then release that latch, and it's a little like hard to find. That's about the level of difficulty on this lock.
That's why it took Dromar so long.
Dromar, you're so good at unlocking
So
things.
you open this
Thank
up.
you, Soria.
Nines,
I rush over to Nines, by
you're
the way.
getting helped down by Ulseth,
Well, no, I'm holding him up.
Now helped up.
or helped up by Ulseth. Excuse me. I'm terribly sorry that I've gotten this clusterfuck of nonsense wrong. What are you trying to do to the sign right now?
Well, I'm gonna fix the sign. Now that I'm stable, and no one is actively trying to stab me in the butt, Dromar.
Only passively.
All the time in your head.
Is the other side of the sign written on?
So like the
One against the
backside?
wall.
Yeah, the backside.
Yes.
They're both horribly written on.
Are they spelled differently?
There's a crossed out spelling.
No. On the other side, the letters are much bigger, and it's spelled the same. They ran out of space as they got to the end. It is THEEVESG, tiny little U,
Is it, like,
tiny little
going
U.
down along the side?
Yeah,
Like
and then after the second tiny little U, kind of angling downward the side, they just gave up and used this side.
This all
I
checks
just
out.
cut it down. We're gonna start all over.
There's no salvaging this.
This sign is garbage.
What did we...
You're in. So you all go into the Thieves Guild, immediately correct the signage, and loot their hoard. After going in like, leave no trace.
I think we came up
The leave no trace has clearly been abandoned, so whatever. at this point.
All of you are guilty on that. Let me just remind the group, you're all guilty.
What did we find in the...
You found 500 gold in here.
What?
Oh, snap.
Dromar,
What's
we
that
each got
divided by
200.
4?
It doesn't matter. It's divided by 2, Dromar. They're busy.
I'm good with that. Let's do it. Yeah.
Drummer will take 250 gold.
I'm glad that the party dynamics are holding up so well.
We'll split it up more later.
Jesus. So you find 500 gold in the Thieves Guild hoard.
Is there anything else, or is it just money?
It's just gold.
I'm not gonna put
Nice.
in the money. We'll divide it up when we're out of this dungeon. I'll just make a note.
Yeah, I took 250.
Okay.
It's a shame that chest was empty.
You guys are doing great. You're doing
Did we
excellent.
find a replacement sign that I can write on?
I mean, how hard do you want to try? Let me
I
ask
have
that.
never felt more inspired in my entire life.
Nines.
Wow.
It is a bit dirty, But I do have this long piece of cloth. Perhaps you can use this for the sign.
Did you take down the red piece of cloth?
There's just scraps of crap all over this place. It's a mishmash.
Oh.
If you want to like tear off one of the walls of
No,
one of the bungalows, go ahead.
I do. I have this very long piece of cloth. It is quite dirty because I had wiped my hands on it earlier. But you may use this for the sign, I do believe.
So it is the ogre's loincloth.
No, it's Dromar's.
Omar's loincloth.
My loincloth is really small.
Yeah.
Like, what
There's no material here to write
How small
a
is
message.
It's like
I
a
have this
friggin'
piece of
napkin
cloth.
or something. Like,
It's like this big.
no, it is not that big. Dromar is a small goblin. How big of a loincloth does he need?
This is the
thought it was
first
a
time
toga.
that I've ever heard a male character arguing for being small in the loincloth department. This is. You guys did
There
this.
are loincloths that are just kind of
Fine,
like
I take the
little
loincloth
aprons,
and I write
there are
Thieves
loincloths
Guild
that are longer pieces
in the
of cloth that
nicest
you
font I
wrap in
possibly
various
can.
and sundry ways to provide,
Yeah,
coverage.
I know what a loincloth is.
You want to explain that to our 7 and
Maybe
under
we should.
audience?
Are you sure?
To our 7 and under audience, a
It's underwear.
loincloth is just underwear, except it's flappy. Now,
We have.
Nines,
This is the best piece of
in
cloth that there
very
is
nice
here.
script on what is now Dromar's former loincloth. You write Thieves Guild and just kind of pierce it on one of the hooks that the old one was hanging on. And it's like a little napkin.
How is that
up there.
part of the code of Remardin to take the thing that was given to you in a gesture of good faith that you were specifically promised that you would return once freshly laundered?
He's got you there.
Oh man. Oh,
There
no.
is nothing in the code about.
Keeping promises? That's not in the
About-
code.
I don't think
Cloth.
it is.
About cloth? No, probably not about cloth specifically.
I'll buy you
but,
a
like, I would
fancy new
think,
loincloth.
I would think keeping your word would be in there.
Having been
I'm gonna-
reminded of the code, I say, Nines, I am very sorry, but I must return this. It is indelible ink, is it not? Yes, I must return this to Dromar, laundered
No,
except for
this ink
the.
is not going to wash off.
No,
It's going to say Thieves Guild right there for the rest of this existence of this loincloth.
With enough washing, most things would come out.
somehow all of this seems to be very
We need
appropriate.
to sell
I will look for more
underwear.
cloths for you for a new sign. Can I examine some of the huts?
I'm also. I
mean, I
I
already
also want to
have.
look in the
Oh,
huts.
have you? You looked in all the
Oh,
huts?
have you looked in
Yeah,
huts?
I did an investigation in the room.
Yeah, you did.
Oh,
There's
okay.
really not that much to find in here.
Like, yeah.
Other than
Dromar, I'm
other
going.
than the gold we
Yes.
don't know about.
There's just not all that much down here. There's basically like wrappers, like little paper wrappers from sweets. Some like scraps of food, like some apple cores, some like bones left over from what are clearly steaks or chicken cuts. All of the things down here, it's just a mess.
Dromar, I'm going to give you guidance, and maybe you could sneak up and see where this leads.
All right. I think we should sneak up here. I mean, there's clearly something going on here.
You think Dromar can lift up this really heavy metal?
He has a crowbar.
We'll find out.
I do have a crowbar. All right. I will climb up the ladder and try to pry open the lid as quietly as possible.
Okay.
Does Dromar feel like he could potentially like pry the lid open just a little bit and look out, or does he have to like take the whole thing off?
I mean, this is not the first time that you have found yourself in a sewer and kind of sneaking around. You have a general sense that these things are heavy, but it is possible if you can get just the right angle to wedge these things up, or enough leverage of your own body, which does take considerable force for you. because these are heavy. These things are probably just a little bit lighter than you, like all of you. So it's a little difficult, but you do also know that it's possible to do that. And you think it's probably possible here too, although you don't know what the top side looks like, so you can't say for sure.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna try to do that then. I'm gonna try to climb up and just pry it open a little bit so that it's fairly low profile if anyone were just glancing about above, but that I can kind of get a decent view.
Okay. You climb up the ladder with, relative ease, also finding it kind of fun to climb up this, enclosure. And you get to the top, and you take a moment to kind of brace yourself now that you're in, like, the actual sewer. There's a cylinder space that you're in, and you brace yourself, putting your feet on the ladder and your back against the wall, and you're holding yourself up with some tension. Try to pry that up with a crowbar. So go ahead and make an athletics check here.
Not terrible. Athletics. That'll be a 13 altogether.
You do manage to get a little bit of leverage on there, but it's unstable. It's a little hard to hold it to the kind of angle you had to go at to get it up. The shelf that it rests on to hold itself up. It's a little bit hard to get a good angle. You've managed to pry it up a little bit. If you want to try to look out, you're gonna have to reposition, and I'm gonna have you make another athletics check to see if you can hold all this together.
Had you used my guidance yet?
You can basically, what I'm saying is you can tell that this is a little unstable right now.
Okay.
And you know that if you move, it's going to be kind of some twisting around to keep it all together.
Jomar, I see
this thing.
Good luck. Have fun. It is fun in the chute, is it not?
Oh, very fun.
I'm whispering because I am right by the chute, right by the entrance. So could I, instead of trying to peek out now, could I try to wedge the crowbar in a little bit better, reposition it so I feel like it's more stable?
You could do that. You know that it would cause some noise, a fair bit of noise of metal scraping and kind of moving around. You can just feel that to get that, you'd have to make a little bit of a racket.
Okay. Does it look to me like if I were able to reposition that I would be able to look out?
You think so. You have a reasonable idea that if you kind of repositioned and got yourself up there and kind of held the bar in place with your legs and just get in this awkward position for a minute, you could probably peer out.
Okay, I will try to do that then. You said another acrobatics check?
While Jomar is doing that, I move to the bottom of the ladder in case he were to fall.
Okay.
Oh no, that's not great at all. I'm definitely going to use the guidance. Yeah, that's not much help. Okay, so 4 plus 1 plus 1, 6.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Those I can do. 21.
All right. You kind of move to reposition here, and the bars of the ladder are slippery, and so's the kind of metal cylinder, and you lose your balance. The crowbar slips out, it falls down. Make a dexterity saving throw, well, Seth.
Natural 20 plus 2, 22.
Okay.
Catch the bar.
Yeah, you see the bar falling.
I catch the bar, and I catch the drummer.
And you grab the bar midair, and
I grab you with my main hand, and the bar with my
Just
off.
cradling Dromar.
Dromar, you're hanging there by one hand, kind of like you caught
That's
yourself
pretty cool.
with your save. You're just like, but you feel like you were very close to really being hurt.
Good thing I did that.
And either falling and like maybe catching your leg in the rungs of the ladder. You're just like, whoo, that was close. And Ulseth, you looked pretty cool, just grabbing a crowbar. It was
Did,
nothing.
Dromar,
did that make a big noise when the lid closed?
Not that big of a noise. You only had it up like an inch or so at the angle you were
Okay.
at, so you don't. I mean, it made a noise, not a super loud one. You reckon that it could be something that would be overlooked if someone were to be so inclined to go, what was that? They might ignore it.
Dromar, would you like your crowbar back?
Yes, thank you, Ulseth.
You're welcome.
Have
Thank you
Soria
for
throw it
catching-
back up.
I'm I think I'm gonna try that one more time.
Okay, you climb down, get your crowbar.
Would you like me to assist by holding you? I mean, like bracing you?
Is it big enough that we can both fit in there at the same time?
Well, he could be underneath you.
Yeah, under.
Okay.
I mean, because Ulseth can go up and down these tubes. You've done that before.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
So you could
Okay.
can support
basically
you.
Ulseth could kind of be blocking the way, and you might have to like kind of stand on his shoulders or even like on his head and kind of like squish his face for a minute. But
Don't do that.
you could use Ulseth to help give a little bit better grounding to try this again.
Is it a big enough space that, like, Ulseth could open it and I could look out? Or is it not?
No,
Like
it's kind of like if Ulseth were on the, because technically you are medium, but you are a very large medium creature. As a Furbolg at 7'8", you take up a lot of space. There wouldn't be enough room for you to try to like be next to him and maneuver around him.
Sure.
You can go in order of each other, but
Okay.
you can't be like in the same space in this area.
That's what I figured.
What if Dromar was sitting on his shoulders and Ulseth did this while Dromar was sitting like there?
It might give me advantage.
I mean, with the dimensions of a 7'8" individual, with that sort of wingspan, actually, yeah, you could reasonably make an attempt where Dromar's standing on your shoulders, you're bracing yourself on the ladder, and you use a hand to either manipulate a crowbar or just attempt to push this thing up. Ulseth being quite strong, you haven't seen these things, but you get the sense that you could probably push it up.
Well, Dromar, you seem to know very well what you are doing. What assistance would be good for you?
Well, I appreciate the offer, Ulseth. Why don't you come up and I'll go up above you and you could try to like brace me or I could brace against you and you could try to reach up and push and while I use the crowbar and then I could try to look out and that might help quite a bit if you don't mind.
I will attempt that. Yes, just
tap
provide direction.
I'll tap your foot and give
Okay.
you guidance.
Okay. So I'm attempting
Can I have
to do.
guidance too, Soria?
I'm
I
attempting.
can't reach you up there.
I'm trying to do what Dromar is asking me to do.
I can't reach through the ladder. It's a touch.
Yeah, it's a touch thing.
Well, I did have to climb down to get the crowbar.
Right.
No, I
I thought
handed
he
you the
handed it to
crowbar.
you.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
Sorry.
I can only give one
Sounds
person
good.
guidance.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
like
okay,
one at a
gotcha.
time.
It's a
I
concentration.
did not know that.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
Yeah, I mean, you can do sequential. It's a cantrip, so you can just cast it as much as you
Sure,
want, but
sure.
you can only have one at a time.
That makes sense.
Okay, so come on up, Ulseth. I'm gonna go to the very top, and then you just kind of brace yourself against the ladder and against the tube, and I'll push off against your shoulders, and we'll kind of push together, all right?
Okay, I will
But
try
we're only
that.
going to try to open this like a crack so that I can look around without... We're going to try to be quiet so that nobody notices what's going on.
I
good?
understand. Yes.
Excellent.
Execute.
Thank you. Execute.
All this happens, it goes up, cart rolls up.
You know that's going to happen. Yeah.
So, how do you want to handle us rolling this?
Since most of this work is really going to be on Ulseth to manipulate all of the weight and hold himself up, I'm going to have Ulseth make an athletics check
With guidance.
on this with guidance.
Does he get advantage since I'm helping him with the crowbar?
Yeah, I mean, I could see some... I'm trying to reason through whether you could reasonably provide real assistance, and I think you probably could by guiding the crowbar in there. So go ahead and roll with advantage.
19, 20, 26.
Nice.
This goes much more smoothly than Dromar's previous solo attempt. And you managed to get the crowbar with Dromar's guidance about where to place and kind of how to maneuver it in there, and providing a little of his own weight to help get leverage on things. You managed to get a couple inches, rise up just enough so there's a little bit that you might be able to look through.
Can you see anything, Drama?
You don't have a lot, and the angle that you're looking at, so try to walk with me through this. You've got this surface, and it's opening up kind of like this. So you have an angle that's shooting upward at about like 50, 60 degrees upward out of here. You can't quite see the street unless you want to raise it high enough where there'd be enough room for your eyes to now be at street level. You know what I'm saying? This kind of the geometry of this limits what you can view.
Can we, instead of continuing to raise it at an angle, could we try to raise the whole lid up a few inches so that I can see 360 degrees around and like lift my head up, you know, sort of, so it's still like right underneath the lid so that I can sort of see in all directions?
Yes, let's crush Dromar's head
Yeah, I mean, I think you could probably accomplish...
with massive metal plate.
I think you could probably accomplish that. Ulseth, make, if you want to do this, make an athletics check to sort of balance this and hold up the grate with your hand.
Before I do that, Dromar, could you have seen anything at all?
Could I see anything?
You could see buildings.
It's outside.
I mean, it's outside, yeah.
I can see
It
buildings,
looks
but not...
like you're in a street.
Do any of these buildings look familiar at all?
Not particularly. As we talked about before, the architecture in Nordfeld leaves many of the buildings looking rather similar to one another.
Makes sense.
Cast guidance on your foot again.
Yeah, I just see buildings, but nothing distinguishable.
Okay. I will try that which you have asked.
Thank you.
I'm sorry. 11. I may not have succeeded. I am trying very hard.
I appreciate your
It's a
efforts,
little
Ulseth.
rough, but you've already got enough leverage. So you kind of shift some of the weight of this over to your hand. Now you're holding it up. It's harder than before, but you manage it. And you can now, you've got about 2.5 inches of clearance. I'm trying to go on like what a goblin-sized creature would need to get eyes at like a street level. So you have about, the whole lid is now raised off about 2.5, 3 inches or so off of the ground that it was laying in. And you can kind of scan the street level now.
That is the best
like
I can
to-
do. I hope you can see things.
I think this would be perfect. Thank you, Seth. Let me see what I can see.
I will look all the way around slowly, trying to see anything of note.
Okay. You do a little slow rotation, standing on Ulseth's shoulders, kind of moving around, and it's now very clear that you're in the middle of a street in Nordfeld. The time of day is now a little late morning-ish looking. You can't be quite certain. The sun is up, so it would be late morning for your normal diurnal individual. And most of the citizens of Nordfeld would be asleep. Their nighttime. So you don't see a lot of people moving around. There's a smattering of shops. Most of them look to be like cafes, lunch-looking places.
Do you see any names?
And what did you say?
Oh, I was just saying, like, if we can get like a name or something, we could find this place from above.
Yeah, do I see any names of shops or?
You have a hard time kind of making out the shop names because it's dark inside, and the sun is up, and it's not. I mean, all these shops, all of their signage and everything is made for nighttime illumination and display, so they don't display all that well during the daytime, and it's a little hard to make it out. You can, however, see a street sign. And it's you can see one of them, but that should be enough. You see the cross street fairly well, and it is 17th Avenue. And you get just the first bit before, like, the angle's too extreme to read from where you're at. For the street that you're on, and it starts BRO. But that's all you can make out before the street sign becomes too obscure. So you don't know the street that you're on for sure, but the 17th Avenue is the nearest crossroad.
What streets was the warehouse on?
Anyone remember?
Trying to find it in my records.
Well, anyway, I'll close the lid and come back down.
Okay.
Thank you, Seth. You can let me down now. I didn't see a whole lot, but I'll tell everyone what I did see when we get down.
Okay.
The
I am
general
glad that I
sense you
could help.
got, Gromar, is that this is near the warehouses. A lot of these looked kind of like these are places for like entertainment or, you know, dinner places. No one's going on a date. Like, this looks like a working part of town. Everything here looks to be catering to warehouse workers, some maybe some office worker kind of stuff, people who are running accountancy firms or something like that. This is a fairly just business part of town, so you know that you're close to your target here, but you're not quite in the right area.
Okay.
So we probably need to go to the southern branch.
Yeah, so I saw this is 17th Street and something with BRO, but I couldn't read the whole sign, and I couldn't make out any of the other signage around. I think we're close, but not quite there yet. I'm kind of worried about that we made it quite clear that we were here in this.
Oh yeah, I'm so afraid of people who can't spell the Horde.
I'm guessing this is like a kid's hideout. There's like sweets wrappers and...
Nines is
There's
over
no
there,
money
like,
anywhere. If this was a thieves
lighting
guild,
something on
they'd be
fire.
like loaded with money.
That's true. That's
Oh yeah,
true.
speaking of which, we found about 400 gold, so here's 100 for you and 100 for you.
Well, thank you for the
wow.
gold.
Yes.
That was
I
a
guess the
very
Sea
good
Guild
find.
does a lot of money here.
But yeah, I think we should, since it's daytime right now, and everybody's probably asleep, we should try to hurry to the warehouse before people get suspicious that we're onto them, since we've clearly been here. Sound good?
Yeah.
Yes,
All right.
make it so.
You head back down
Execute.
the ladder and regroup at the base. Since this hasn't really been covered yet, at the southern end of this room, there is a sluiceway that goes out. At the northern end of this room, the sluiceway continues. The northern end is blocked by bars, and unless you want to spend a whole lot of time attempting to open them, you can safely assume that there is no way further. And the only way to continue forward into unknown areas is either to go back the way you came and down the southern path there, or take the southern path that presents itself in this room.
I will go down the.
There's
wait,
a separate southern path.
Yeah, the way that you came in, it's on about a 45-degree.
Oh.
Yeah, so you came in. It's kind of like this. You came in across a perfectly parallel angle, and then you go up about 45 degrees or down about 45 degrees. Remember, it was a Y intersection. So those are angled paths that you came. The one that you came in on was an angled entry, and that goes. You were return down it. It would be going in a southeasterly direction. On the way in, you traveled in a northwesterly direction.
I think we go the southeasterly direction. What do you all think?
But you're saying,
sure.
I'm confused. Is there another exit?
There is, yes. There is another exit out of this room on the south side. The way you came in is
directly
on the,
south. Okay.
Yes, is on the eastern side of this room, and there is an exit out of the south side of this room as well.
Why don't we go down to the Y path and down the southwestern? Go back to the Y junction. And then go southwest.
I agree.
Isn't southeast the other way?
This path goes southeast back to the Y junction that we met at.
Oh, okay. I guess I'm confused.
There
It is like this.
Yeah, I know what a Y looks like.
Yeah, there are two paths out of this room. Both of them lead in a southerly direction. One of them, the one you came back in, the one you came in on, would lead back in a southeasterly direction. The one on the southern end of this room, which you have not ventured down, leads directly south.
Oh, okay. I understand now.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's go south. I agree.
Directly south or back to the Y?
Oh, what did you say, Soria?
Well, at the Y junction, there was a path that goes southwest as well that we didn't go down.
Correct.
That's true. Don't we want to head generally east, though?
No, we want west because the warehouses are to the west.
And everyone was making fun of my directions earlier.
Are they? I guess I've forgotten. I thought they were.
We've been heading west
Okay.
this whole
West.
time. You sang a song about it.
Okay. Oh, yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Okay.
Yes.
Westward
Journey
Ho
to
or
the
something.
west.
Sounds good.
Okay, so you want to go back to the
yes,
Y junction
execute.
and then take the southwestern route
Yes.
out. Okay.
Yeah.
Make your way back to the Y junction, having now rightly fucked up the Thieves Guild. And
They had it
towers.
They will be most happy to see it spelled correctly.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Very happy. To have been
And
robbed blind.
On the way out, do you want to just kick the fire barrel over and let everything burn?
I was actually
Yes.
thinking about
Yes, let's light
destroying the place.
please
Like the
light a
sewer.
fire in the sewers.
Nothing bad.
Like
has
a
ever
large
happened.
blaze. This will be good. Historically, nothing has
I
ever
think-
happened that
I
would be
think we
bad
probably
like
shouldn't,
that.
though.
No,
No.
probably not.
I would love
blame
to
the cow.
roleplay that. That would be deeply entertaining for me. So you go back to the Y junction and head down the southwesterly path that you had not ventured before. The dark and familiarly dank-smelling tunnel that leads to a long, rectangular room with a little bit of a green hue in it. Some odd light trickles in, and you hear a rapid scurrying in this room. And that's where we're going to end today's episode.
I bet it's gonna be
Rats.
fun.
Well, you'll have to wait and find out. Everyone, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate you dropping in.
Dromar did a very good dropping in.
We
Hang on there.
hope you all stay safe. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.